Yo, yo, yo. Let me check my Wi-Fi. Good, there. Great. Okay. Once again, I'm going to be trying to have an even more relaxed conversation this time to avoid those pesky restrictions that keep coming up. So once again, yeah, this is going to be me trying to be as chill as possible today while debating people, because you just get a restriction for anything basically. So trying to go for no restrictions today, that means I'm going to be nice to people, or somewhat nice to people, and we're going to have, polite conversations if possible. I think even the clapping when I'm saying you're done, I think that might be getting me restrictions on TikTok. So gonna try and be nice to people today. Okay, yeah, the queue is empty, so let's get some people joining. Let's get some conversations, some debates. Yeah, we should make all life go extinct. Life should never exist in unsafe, cruel conditions. Imagine if you were, given, responsibility over life, right? Would you force it into dangerous conditions where most of them are going to suffer terribly? You'd be a monster, right? And yet that is currently what's happening. And just because you didn't cause it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do something about it. That's kind of one of the main mistakes people make, thinking that, well, if I didn't cause the problem, then it's not my fault, not my problem. Hello, how you doing?
Hello. I talked to you like one time before, but I just wanted to talk to you again because like I don't know, like your videos always make me cry because like I agree with everything that you say, you know. I think it's like really sad.
Yeah, it's very terrible. Basically, who's to blame? It's nature, right?
Yeah.
Nature brought life into this world, into the worst conditions, made it able to suffer so that it would be able to survive better. But only the lucky few actually survive properly as a result. The rest just suffer terribly.
Hmm.
Yeah, so blame nature, blame the world, the universe, but
Yeah.
don't just blame it. Take action and work towards a better world.
Yeah, I was actually reading your website and like there was a question if like you started this because your life like you're depressed or something. So I just wanted to ask like why are you doing this, and like also how do you want to do this? Like I don't understand like how are you going to do this? Like I'm
Yeah,
confused.
so most people in this movement aren't doing it because they want to, stop living. In fact, we want to live longer so that we can do more activism. Most of us are doing it because it's the only correct world. It's the only right world, right? So you can do it for empathetic reasons because you care about the sufferers, but also you
Yeah.
have to do it because it's the only correct thing, right? It's the only logical way forward. There's no way to logically have a world where you're allowing the worst types of suffering for no reason.
Yeah, but like how are you gonna do this? Like how do you wanna like cause extinction? Like
However necessary, right? So we'll probably be using euthanasia.
oh, okay. And the last question that I wanted to ask you about veganism, like I know that you already talked about it, but I don't really understand it.
Yeah, so if everyone in the world was vegan right now,
Mhm.
all of the farms would close down, all of the mining operations, furniture operations, chopping down forests for wood, it would all stop, right? And basically, by being vegan, you save 30 square foot of forest every day just by being a vegan. And that alone causes more suffering, right? So
Oh, mhm.
so essentially, vegan agriculture takes up 20% of the land that animal farming agriculture takes up. And most of that is because you have to, so you can grow a small number of crops and vegan food, and you can feed humans with it, or you can grow way more crops to feed animals and then feed humans. Okay, so that's what we're doing right now. It's very calorie inefficient. You have to grow way, way, way more food to feed the animals to then feed the humans. It's very inefficient. So it's way
Mhm.
more efficient to be vegan. But even though that sounds like a great thing, that efficiency is actually a really bad thing for the wild animals. Because they suffer as a result. So the more inefficient we are with land use, the more land we're denying to wild animals, and they actually suffer a lot worse. So
Yeah, exactly. Like, there was this picture that you put up, and it was like, you know, a lion, if it doesn't kill a zebra, like the lion suffers, but if it kills the zebra, like the zebra suffers, you know? So that's exactly like the world, you know, there's not a perfect way, but I still feel like even like a couple of like, you know, because not everybody is vegan, but for example, I'm trying to be vegan, right? But I think that if I am vegan, like maybe it's better than not to be vegan, but it wouldn't be great if everybody was vegan, if you understand.
but
Like,
why? Yeah, the thing. No, so like going vegan right now does cause more suffering and worse suffering. Like I
I
say,
don't know.
to be a vegan, you're saving 30 square foot of forest every single day, right? So that's causing more suffering and worse suffering.
Yeah, but there's, like you said, there's not a perfect way. We can't make it perfect. Like, you know,
Why not?
we can't, like, just like you said, like,
Why? You can't
like
just
the
say you
only
can't
way
just
to
say that
make
and
it,
then not give a reason, okay?
like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like the only way to make it perfect is to like that everything stops as existing, like you said, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, extinction is the easiest thing, right? We've made species of animals go extinct. We have euthanasia, right? And destruction is always easier than building, right? So yeah, extinction
But
is the easiest way.
you can always delete yourself.
Well, no,
Or
no.
like,
I mean, animals can't do that. Children can't do that.
yeah.
Babies can't do that. Disabled people can't do that. So when you say, "Oh, you could just unalive yourself," who are you talking about?
I understand. Okay, well, thank you for letting me in.
No worries, Anna. Thank you for coming on.
Okay,
And
bye.
yeah, watch some more videos, read some more of the website, maybe, and learn more. Yeah, and it's good to ask questions, Cora and Anna and everyone. You can ask me and everyone else questions in the Discord at all times. We will answer every question. So no silly questions, no stupid questions. All questions are allowed. If you're asking completely insane questions, we might lose patience. But yeah, even when I joined the movement, I had loads of stupid questions for like months, for like 2 or 3 months. I still didn't understand it fully. I understood the core principle and I was on board with it, but there was a few things I still didn't get. So yeah, it takes time to understand it fully, but it shouldn't take that long to agree with the concept, right? Most people in the movement immediately agreed, and yeah, we needed to understand more, but we were completely committed immediately. Okay, moving on. We've got Mink coming up onto the stage next. Bringing you up now. Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
I just have a question about um your so how you talked about revolution.
Yeah.
What what does that mean?
Well, like they did in America with slavery, right? They fought a war to end slavery.
Oh, okay. So you would start a war?
Not necessarily, but we'll do whatever is necessary.
Oh, okay. And you've maybe answered this before, but I just need to ask again. Do do you want people to still have a choice to you talked about euthanasia. Are you talking about forcibly?
So, yeah, most likely it would be forcefully, yeah. Um, I'm trying to picture a world where, we don't have to make humanity go extinct and they can live out their days instead of just going immediately extinct. And, if there's 100% safety, then we'd support it. But if there's any risk, then there's no point. And yeah, forcefully going extinct is better because it reduces suffering, reduces the risk of suffering. It provides safety. Safety first. People need to understand that safety is more important than fun and living.
Okay. Okay. So if you were like the world leader, would you make it a law that you had to euthanize yourself?
No, because that would be cruel, and not everyone can do that. Most people would not be able to bring themselves to do it, so we would do it for them.
you would do it for them
Yeah.
without their like without them having a choice.
Yeah, because humans can't make responsible decisions, so we have to do it for them.
Oh wow.
Do you disagree?
I I don't know.
Look around the
That's pretty.
world. Just look around, see what crazy stuff people are doing.
I mean, I agree. It's people are pretty insane.
Yeah.
It's pretty heavy to say you wouldn't give them a choice.
But that's the problem, is that if you do give them a choice, then you're allowing them to make bad decisions and to suffer terribly potentially as a result. So the risk of that outweighs anything else.
Oh, okay. Wow. All right. I think I understand now.
Yeah, safety from suffering has infinite value over existence and happiness, basically, when you're in danger. So, the rational decision is never to exist in extreme danger, basically.
So everyone lives in extreme danger?
Yes.
Yeah.
Look,
Okay.
you can get hit by a car tomorrow and become a vegetable in a country that has no euthanasia, right? Then you're screwed.
Right. Um don't you think people would resist?
Yeah. Yeah, but the slave owners resisted as well. But that didn't make people say, you know what? All right, they might resist, so go home, guys. Just forget the movement.
Oh wow. Okay. I'll need to process that, but thank you for answering my question.
This world is currently using force to make others suffer terribly, right? So we should use force to defend life. Otherwise, it will be made to suffer horribly.
Okay,
Yeah.
that
And
makes sense.
yeah, thanks for coming on. And it's mostly about, without total extinction, suffering just goes on for billions of years. And really, people just have this unhealthy obsession with life existing and continuing. And the idea of it not existing is like just nuclear to them, right? It's like, no, I can't process the idea. We can't do that. Hello, how you doing?
Hi, James. I totally support your idea. I first come across you was just yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. Well, to be honest, it always confused me why people are having children in poverty.
They
Why?
evolved to do so.
Why it upsets me so much. Like, let's say I'm ethnically, I'm from Somalia, and they're living in poverty and they're having kids, 8, 9 kids. Why are you having 8, 9 kids while you cannot even feed one?
Yeah. It's like
It's
monkeys,
so,
right? Like a monkey is never going to stop having kids, right? You can't teach a monkey to make responsible decisions, and that's
no.
what I was trying to explain to the last guy. Humans are monkeys, right? That are just slightly intelligent enough to speak.
So I came to an idea that these people are evil themselves, the ones who are having children. They know that they're living in poverty. They know that their child might starve. They might not be able to afford
Uh,
medication for their
no,
children.
that it's not that they're evil. There are bad people out there, but it's that they evolved to be like that, right? That's exactly what nature wanted. So it's not their fault that they were born that way.
Okay, so how do you explain in Palestine when the war was happening, um, and the genocide was happening for the last 3 years, but yet
Yeah.
there were babies who were 3 months, there were babies who were 8 months. How the hell did you think of, to be with someone intimate
Yeah,
while
it
there is
seems.
genocide? Like, what is wrong with these people?
Well, what is wrong with them is that they have essentially a brain disability, a genetic disability, which was reinforced by nature and by reproduction, right? So if you're less likely to reproduce, you go extinct. If you're more likely to reproduce, that gets reinforced in the bloodline, and you end up with people having 10 kids in war zones and you not caring what happens. But we can't blame the people as much, because ultimately they can't control what they're doing. You know, they are just slaves to nature, essentially.
James, it's so hard for me to understand. How is it just nature? What anyone can know from right and wrong.
No,
They know
no,
this
no.
is wrong.
That's exactly it. You would think so. And, you know, even I grew up thinking that, yeah, we live in a smart world, right? But no, people are incredibly unintelligent because having kids reinforces that. So there's nothing intelligent about having children. And so, you know, there's not like slightly intelligent people having kids. To have kids, you have to be really unintelligent, right? Completely. So it's not like some people having kids are really smart, and then people in war zones having kids are really unintelligent. It's all a very animalistic thing, extremely animalistic. And yes, humans look intelligent, and I've done videos on this. You know, humans, you can approach a human and they sound smart at first, but you start asking them about, you know, reproduction and stuff, and they just start sounding absolutely insane. It's because they evolved to do that.
Well, I need to learn more about this because
Yeah, well,
clearly,
I've
otherwise I
I've
wouldn't be
done videos on
convinced.
it, so check out my channel.
I tried to add you on Discord yesterday, but I couldn't. So I don't know how to. Or shall I try WhatsApp?
Did you try the link to the Discord server?
Yeah. Is it supposed, because I haven't used Discord in a long time, is it supposed to say that you've been accepted or you just joined the channel?
You just join in. You just enter straight away. You have to submit a little application, but that's it.
Okay, I haven't done that, so I guess it didn't work.
You can also just Google abolish suffering Discord, and that should get you in as well. If you have any difficulties, send me a message on TikTok, and yeah, try the WhatsApp as well.
Okay. All right, James. It was nice talking to you.
Thank you for coming up. Nice to meet you. So
Nice
yeah,
to meet you guys. Bye.
bye. Google search abolish suffering Discord, and it should be the first link. Okay, moving on to exasperated next. Oh no, it was a ghost in the queue, I think. Right, the queue is empty then, so waiting on the next person to join us. In the meantime, let's take some comments. James, do you have human emotions too? Yes, yeah, I do. I haven't fully transitioned to complete non-humanity yet, but I am working on it. But yeah, I would say that I experience emotions in a different way than most people. As, I don't know, humanity 2.0, right? Okay, moving on. Let's see some questions. We're still waiting for people to join. As soon as someone joins that queue, I'll bring them up and we can have a conversation. People are pretty dumb, but they often surprise you, yeah, with how dumb they are. So you think your parents are stupid? Yeah. All humans, right? So let's not single anyone out. How about transhumanism instead of extinction? It doesn't work and it's unethical. You can't just go after pleasure and hope it will maybe help the sufferers as well if they're lucky, right? You have to go after the suffering in order to be ethical. You have to prioritize helping people instead of prioritizing helping yourself and your own pleasure. So transhumanism is kind of the opposite of extinctionism. It's saying we can solve all suffering with technology and without extinction. But the thing is, no one's made a compelling argument for it yet. And, you know, if you want to, then join the stream and let's talk. Okay, moving on. Let's see who else is talking. James, why do so many people want kids when it just brings them into suffering? Because they evolved to be like that. You know, why do flies have kids, right? Why do flies lay eggs? Why do chickens lay eggs? Okay, it's the same as humans, right? So really your question is, why is it that humans, which are animals, still have kids despite having more intelligence than other animals? And yeah, it's because we do have intelligence, but when it comes to most things, we're just completely irrational and unintelligent. I was watching a film about a documentary about AI yesterday, and it actually made a good explanation of it about intelligence, right? And essentially, the more power you've got, the more information you've got, the more powerful your system is, the more intelligent you are, right? So the less intelligent you are, the more animalistic you become, and you're limited by your hardware, by the brain you were born with. And yeah, things just start making less sense. You just see the world in a crazy way. Look, it's for the rational people out here. We see the world the way it is, but the irrational people, most of humanity, they're religious. They want kids, and essentially all they can think about is their own life and their own desires. So whereas extinctionists have realized, like, oh wow, there's really nothing in my life that urgent that I need, right? I could literally be living with nothing, right? I could have absolutely nothing, and as long as I can still do some activism and help others, then that's all that matters. Whereas everyone else, even Elon Musk has billions and hundreds of billions, like 500 billion now, right? Half a trillion, and it's still not enough. He still says, like, yeah, I want more. So most people, they're just so self-obsessed with their own needs, and the world itself is just like an alien to them, and it's just like something for them to exploit and try and survive through, not something that they have to help make better for everyone else. They just focus on their own lives. And I was watching a few humans earlier, and they were talking about how, I want to watch this film, and I want to do this and I want to do that, and I'm just there like, yeah, you don't need all that nonsense, right? Yeah, you're basically, the thing is, because you're treating your whole life as, I need more pleasure, I need to be happy, I need to be happy. It means that, like, you're constantly relying on external pleasures like films and books and stuff, right? Because you're telling yourself that you need to be happier, right? And that's all that matters. But really, you've got children and animals suffering way worse than you that actually need your help, right? It's not optional. They genuinely need you to help. They need someone to help, anyone. And yet all you can think about is, I'm hungry, or, oh no, that pizza wasn't as nice as I expected it to be. And it's like, God, it's so pathetic, right? You just grow up, realize that, the world doesn't revolve around you. Your selfish needs are really not that big of a deal. They'll be like, oh, I've wasted 2 days doing that, reading that book, and it was rubbish. And it's like, there's children being abused right now. There's animals being eaten alive right now that need our help. And all you can talk about is like, oh, that ice cream I had cost, more money than I wanted to pay. And it's like their problems, their issues are so small, so absolutely just non-issues, right? That essentially, if you realize that other people have bigger issues than you and need your help, and you start helping them, then you realize that all of your problems are just like absolutely nothing in comparison. And, you got people like, oh, I can't wait to go to this concert, I can't wait to do that. And it's like, dude, there's better things to be doing with your time. That's pathetic, right? We need to be responsible, not just selfish. We're in an ocean of children being tortured and being like, oh, me. It's it's amazing. Okay, moving on. We've got people in the queue. Let's do it. Let's bring them on. Okay, that was a ghost in the queue. Moving on to the next one. Another ghost in the queue. Okay, we got one coming on now. Mr. Top.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing swell. How are you?
Any questions?
So, are you actually going to debate people?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have in life and you have in death. In life, you have 3 choices: good, neutral, bad. In death, you only have the chance for one, and that's bad. So you're saying only
where's the bad
with-
in death?
Let's force bad. Oh, I'll explain it to you. See, the bad thing in death is there's no life experience.
No.
In life, you
Why is that
get
bad?
good
Why is that bad?
experience,
Why is that
neutral,
bad?
or bad.
Why is that bad though?
Because we are created for experience.
By
Otherwise,
who?
there'd be no need for creation.
By well, why is the what's the need for creation? By who? So you're religious?
Obviously.
Well, thank you for coming to Sunday School, the Extinctionist Sunday School. Thanks you for your visit. But I think you came to the wrong church today. Hello, Danny. How you doing?
What's up, man? I'm good. How are you?
Good. Good. Do you have any
So,
questions?
like, how do you plan on forcefully asserting this to the entire planet without resistance?
Well, there may be resistance. There may not be. It depends which method we ultimately end up going with.
So, if there is resistance, don't you think you'd be trying to like take over the world?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And you don't think people have tried and failed to do this?
Yeah, lots have been successful though, right? It's not just about taking over the world. Like the anti-slavery movement in America, they took over the country. They fought a war to end that injustice. So yeah, there's been loads of cases of that, like the French Revolution, right? Loads of them.
The French Revolution took over the world?
No, but it took over the power of that country, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about the whole world.
I don't think anyone's really ever tried to do that.
Really? You don't think, Genghis Khan or Schmittler
I don't
would have
know.
wanted to?
Not necessarily, right?
But look, you said you might need to, so why are you deflecting now?
I'm not. You're just bringing up random examples as if it's somehow a definitive and good
No, I asked you
argument.
for an example. You said there's lots of examples, and then you
Yeah,
backtracked
there's
a little.
examples of people taking power in order to change the world for better.
Right, but they didn't successfully take over the whole world by force.
Yeah, so, it might be a bit more challenging, but so be it.
You're onto something there, man.
Well,
Might be a bit of a challenge.
well, yeah, but we're not afraid of challenges like you.
Might be an endless war, right?
Yeah, but, we're not like, cowards like some people.
I mean, you don't even know me. Why would you go to ad
People saying
hominem?
like, oh, that sounds scary. I'd never do that.
Notice how you're resorting to ad hominem.
Well, no, you're resorting to saying that sounds scary, bro.
I never once said scary. Maybe
Thank
you're
you so
projecting.
much, Danny, for this riveting conversation. We'll give you a Debater of the Month award on the wall, I'm sure. Moving on to Ayla. Hello, how you doing?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm Isla. Yes.
Nice to meet you. Do you have any questions for us?
Oh no, I support everything you're saying. Here's the thing, I am pro extinction, but I do have some input. I feel like kids are for the wealthy and superior genetics. That's why I keep spamming your, account, putting that in there. And I know that personally because majority of people are not wealthy and probably will never be wealthy. And I have a close friend who is wealthy. And I'm going to say that I would never say she should go extinct. She's wealthy with superior genetics. Her husband is a football player and they are wealthy. I think that would be not saying being an athlete or anything, but wealth and superior genetics should be the only reason why we bring people here. I don't think a regular person, I don't understand the reason for reproducing. I just wanted to add that input.
Yeah, it certainly seems much more irrational when people are having kids in war zones. But ultimately, it all comes from the same sort of, animalistic desire to have kids, right? And yeah, the thing is, it may seem like a smarter decision for a rich person to do it, but their kids are in almost just as much danger as everyone else's kids. So it's just slightly less danger. Doesn't make it that much better, really, and it doesn't
No,
make it.
it's definitely much better. I'm telling you, I actually see a major difference. Like she doesn't have the same struggles that I have and my peers have. Like I just unfortunately I do feel like wealthy people are shielded by a lot of the sadness that majority of us face. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
that's how this earth goes.
Yeah.
unfortunately. So to me, that would be the only logical reason why someone would have a child, because they have that shield of wealth there.
Well, that
In
still wouldn't
majority of
be. It still wouldn't be logical, right? To just place a life form in danger for no reason. So for us, the only logical reason to reproduce is in order to actually help others, right? And for the greater good. So we need more kids temporarily for a few hundred years until humanity's finished animal extinction and preventing life developing and coming back. Then we can make humanity go extinct. So yeah, right now it does make sense to have kids because humanity is the vehicle for ending suffering for other forms of life.
it makes sense to have kids, to me, if you are wealthy with superior genetics. Like if you just are someone working at a grocery store and you think that it's okay to force life into this world and force
But
them to go to work.
okay, but even if you're a billionaire, though, right, it can still go really wrong, right? So it's still unfair to force life to exist in any danger, don't you think?
Me personally, like I said, I only saying this from my personal, observation. I feel like I can't relate to these people, the wealthy people I'm talking about, and they can't relate to me. They don't even it's like we're living in two different worlds. So
But my
they
point
don't.
is that even billionaires can have children that are depressed and commit suicide, or born with disabilities, born with illnesses that make their life not worth living.
Right. That's why I said superior genetics. That's why I say kids are for the wealthy and superior genetics.
But even with superior genetics, it can still go wrong.
Yeah, but the likelihood of it is what I'm saying, because
Yeah,
her
but
kid.
the thing is that there's
The,
no likelihood at which it's okay to just force life to exist into danger for no reason. So even if it's very unlikely, it's still wrong.
Me personally, if I was to come from her, even though we're around the same age bracket, I would be thankful. I would be happy. Like
Yeah,
if
but
she,
but you wouldn't be if you had a terrible life, right? Which is still
but
possible,
what was the
even.
chances of having a terrible life with that though? This woman, her and her husband plays for the Steelers. They have a cleaning service. Their kids go to private school. These people
Right,
are rich. The
but you
kid,
don't understand, right? That they could have a kid and then it gets hit by a car, has chronic pain and disabilities for the rest of its life, wished it's never been born, right? So, being born into danger is only good for the lucky ones, but it's unacceptable for the unlucky ones, which
yeah,
people
yep,
usually
it's good for the lucky
don't
ones.
think
That's
about.
the nail on the head. Some
Right, but
people
no,
are.
no. You've got it all wrong. The system that you're supporting is one where the lucky ones benefit at the expense of the unlucky ones, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No,
So why is that
no,
good?
they do. So that would be the only way it makes sense. Kids are for the wealthy and superior
No, so
genetics.
so why do you think it makes sense to put life into danger for no reason?
Okay, if I was a wealthy person, I'm not saying this is right, but if I was a wealthy person and I knew that I could pass this money down, I knew that my child would not have to suffer financially and have to they can be isolated from a society. They don't have to deal with the same things that I'm encountering.
Yeah, but that's optimism bias, right? That causes suffering. So
But I'm
you have
looking at it though.
no, no,
I'm
no, no,
literally
no,
watching it
no.
myself. I'm
So
actually,
no,
this
no,
is
no,
not
no.
my
Look.
opinion.
You're being incredibly optimistic, and that causes damage. That causes harm, right? You're being blindly optimistic.
No, this is what their life is though. I'm
No,
not
this is
saying
what
this
you're
is my
supporting.
opinion.
You're saying, yeah, it's good to have kids if you're rich, right?
If you're
But
wealthy with superior genetics,
no,
not just
no,
wealth,
no, no, no.
with
Be-
superior
No,
genetics.
because
You
you're
don't
still
have the gene of
supporting. You're still
autism. You don't
okay.
have the
So
gene of mental illness. You don't have the gene of, you're not 5'1". You don't
okay,
have
but
the
they can
gene
still
of,
have a terrible life.
but they don't though, is what the point I'm making.
Who?
I'm talking about the wealthy people who I'm
Lots of
talking
wealthy
about.
people have a bad time. Lots of wealthy people have a bad
I
time.
said wealthy with superior genetics. That combination.
Lots of wealthy people with superior genetics have a bad time.
Who do you name one? Tell me somebody.
Well, you're applying anecdotal evidence, right? So lots of them.
No, I'm
Lots of
tell me someone who does though.
okay. So lots of billionaires have had miscarriages. They've had children that died shortly after birth. Children with extreme illnesses.
So
That died.
you're missing what I'm saying. I said superior genetics. If they had a baby that
Look,
died
no,
after birth, they don't have the
you're
superior
living in
genetics.
fantasy land. You're living in fantasy. No one has perfect genetics that
I said
guarantee.
superior. I didn't say perfect. Some people do have superior
Well,
genetics.
no, you are saying perfect genetics where no one gets any illness. That doesn't exist. You're living in a fantasy. Okay, moving on to someone who's hopefully living in the real world and not in a delusion. Lilu, bringing up Lilu. Hello, how you doing?
Good morning, host. I'm okay. I'm in my bonnet in bed still. And you?
Yeah, great. Just in my room with a coffee.
Oh, what kind?
I don't know. It's just whatever
Oh,
was in the cupboard.
I see. Yeah, I actually wanted to inquire a little bit about your view.
Yep.
Do you consider yourself a bit like an accelerationist or
No.
okay, because I'm not so sure about the distinction between the two.
Um,
Accelerationist versus extinctionism?
well, accelerationism, as I understand it, is making the world worse so that people feel more stressed into taking action.
Okay, because I thought that acceleration is they would want to speed up the process of whatever views that they were trying to inquire.
Of what?
I thought acceleration is they would want to speed up whatever views that they were trying to inquire. So when the prompt says forcefully causing total extinction of all life is the only right thing to do, that's the impression I got from it. But yeah, I was just a bit confused on that end.
Yeah, I mean, what's your definition of accelerationism?
Yeah, I thought it was someone who held some kind of views where they wanted to accelerate or speed up the process of whatever beliefs that they upheld. Usually it's people who had some
Well,
kind
no,
of...
I think it's usually, I don't know if it's a universal thing like you're suggesting that it can apply to any belief. I think it's a single belief, isn't it? Or position or ideology.
People who upheld accelerationism, well, my experiences, they're
Okay,
usually
here we go. So
antinatalists.
this is the definition. It's a political and social philosophy proposing that the forces of capitalism, technology, and globalization should be radically accelerated and intensified rather than resisted. So yeah, like I said, it's about trying to make the world worse, trying to make people suffer more, trying to make more people die horrifically. It's absolutely the opposite of what we're doing. We want to make a better world. Accelerationists want to make a worse world.
Okay, so are your views mostly tied in with like antinatalism, with the concept of suffering, and you want it prevented?
No, antinatalism only helps your own child. It does nothing for anyone else or for animals. So we need a universal system that will actively prevent birth and life for as much of the universe as possible.
Okay, so why do you uphold these views? Is it just the concept of suffering that you want to prevent?
Yeah, suffering is the only important thing in the world. Essentially, it's the most important thing. It's, providing safety from suffering is more important than providing more pleasure for selfish people.
What are your semantic reductions for suffering?
How do you mean?
Your definition of it.
Yeah, it's like experiences that a sentient being would want to avoid.
I got to type it in the comments because I will forget. Experiences that a sentient being
Would want to avoid, yeah.
will want to avoid. Do you think that all kind of suffering is bad?
Probably, yeah.
I don't know if I would agree with that because let's just say, for example, there's like a bodybuilder and he wants to beat his PR, but he will he will experience some kind of suffering.
But look, I've been in the gym myself. Okay, look, it doesn't really cause that much suffering. It's bodybuilders actually enjoy the feeling on their muscles.
Okay, so what kind of threshold are you upholding for suffering then? If you think that majority of suffering is all bad.
Yeah, so there's no way to just put a threshold or limit on it. You have to say, no suffering should be allowed, no life, no suffering. Otherwise, there is no way to just limit it, which would be, emotionally convenient, but not realistic. So you either allow infinite suffering or no suffering.
I mean, I guess it's just really hard for me to proceed with this conversation if we're saying that there should be no line drawn at suffering at all. But the concept of suffering in general, that's where we draw the line in.
So life shouldn't exist in imperfect conditions, basically. So life should only exist in perfection. Anything else is unnecessary, and life shouldn't exist just for the sake of it. Would you want to be a cockroach? Probably not, right? So
Probably
it's not a
not,
good
no.
thing. Just because nature spit that out doesn't mean it's a good thing.
How do you
You know,
define? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, if we want life to exist, it should be, probably in human form, something capable of actually enjoying life. And it should be in perfect conditions where there's no chance of it going wrong, even the smallest chance. So unless it's 100% certainty that you're going to have a great time and that there's zero danger, even like a small far-fetched danger would be too much. So like even like 0.00000, times 1,001% chance of it going wrong would still be too much.
How do you? Okay. What are your semantic reductions for perfection?
Well, in terms of creating a perfect life and a perfect system for life to exist in, that's it really. You just build upon it from there, and you would just keep going essentially until it truly was perfect. So you would
Right.
basically need to create heaven,
Okay. So if we're trying to essentially create heaven,
but we're not.
oh, I'm sorry. Then I misheard you. You said that we're not trying to create heaven?
Yeah, we're trying to do extinction, right? Heaven would be for the selfish people. Extinction is for what good people are going to do to help the sufferers.
But in order to strive on making a perfect life, I would have thought that like someone who has been through it all, at least would have seen the flaws that they've encountered in their life and trying to make steps to improve from it.
What do you mean?
Well, let's just say like a bodybuilder, for example, that's a recovery, that's just a person that recovering from cancer. I would say that like, I don't know how to properly execute this. Do you think it would have been better if this person were to just been offed, like extinct, to prevent the kind of suffering that would have unfolded? Or would you have preferred that he overcomes his flaws and experience suffering in order to, like, I don't know, reach a new PR?
Yeah, but the thing is that just demonstrates your optimism bias, right? Because you're talking about it as if he's in heaven already, right? Whereas he's
Not at
actually
all.
in like infinite danger. He could get hit by a car tomorrow and paralyzed for the rest of his life. So again,
Yeah,
it's optimism bias that makes us just blindly think that the worst that's going to happen is you stub your toe at the gym and that's it. But no.
No, I don't think I'm optimistic at all because everyone is capable of encountering a risk. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a stat. I might be wrong, so this is just going to be a disclaimer. There are women who are pregnant and they experience risk. Let's just say a random number at 33%. But this particular statistic could then counter that argument and say that women actually have way more risk of getting into a car crash if they have kids in the car. So would it
The
be
point is everyone's in risk of unacceptable danger, and that's why total extinction is the only right thing.
okay? So in a scenario between a pregnant woman versus a woman with kids in the car, would it have been permissible for us to off the kids in the car because there's a higher risk of suffering and harm that they're going to go through?
Well, the thing is, no, because we
Why is
have to
that?
look at the bigger picture, right? So we prioritize stability and peace over just. We're not telling people to go out and just start committing random acts of violence. If you want to work towards helping suffering, you should do it in an organized, responsible, and intelligent way, which is through our movement, right? So it has to be done ethically, not just take a hammer and go crazy in the street.
Yeah. Okay. If you're saying that you're trying to prioritize stability, I would say in situations where there is more chaos, that's where we should prioritize way more stability. In the scenario where I'm proposing two women, one pregnant and the other one with two kids in the car, and there's a higher risk of them getting into a car crash because of the kids in the car. And if you're saying that we need to prioritize stability, it would be under your criteria, right? It would be permissible for us to go ahead and off these kids in the car because we're trying to stabilize and de-escalate the situation.
What
If there's to be a
situation?
higher risk.
What situation?
Yeah, if there's to be a hypothetical involving two women, one pregnant and one with two kids in the car, and the stats were to explain to us that the woman with kids in the car has a higher risk of getting into a car crash, right? And if you're trying to stabilize, and if you're trying to prioritize stability and trying to de-escalate the situation, right, under your criteria,
So
it
your
would be
solution is
permissible.
take a hammer and just bash the kids.
Well, under your criteria, yeah, because you're trying
Lulu,
to
thank you
prioritize.
so much for coming on. Look, we're looking for intelligent people here to join the movement, not people that are going to take a hammer and go bash some kids. Okay, yeah, she really cooked me, guys, with her, plan to murder children as a way to solve suffering. Yeah, look, we should do extinction in an organized way, not with a hammer bashing kids in the streets. Okay, she cooked herself. Erica, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks. Yeah.
So I totally agree with what you're saying. I'm one of the pro extinction movement. I'm definitely a part of it. I actually went through a really big experience where I could see the whole of like reality and of existence, and I saw suffering. And I said that I didn't want it to exist. I said it shouldn't exist. So I am totally on board with this. I took an inventory, if you might call it that. I took a step back and looked at existence and how much suffering there was, and I went through a lot of suffering myself. So
I went through something similar. Like, a few years ago, I did something similar to what you said, where I kind of felt all of the suffering in the world in one go, actually.
Yep.
Pretty wild experience.
Yep.
And that kind of, maybe that's the kind of gate, the entryway to being better,
Yep.
right? Isn't it?
Yep. Yep, definitely. Yeah, so I totally agree with you. And then there's other people that want to. I think people are scared of not existing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
if you don't exist, then what comes after that? But see, I know what comes after not existing. It's peace.
Yeah, it's basically just what came before we were born, right? And
Yep.
if
Yep.
you don't feel bad for children that are never born, right? I don't look at an empty
Right.
space and say, "Wow, I wish there was a kid there." What a terrible thing for
Right.
that kid, right? So we're going to have the same thing. We don't feel bad for non-existent children or people, and we shouldn't feel bad for ourselves being non-existent either.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Because I remember before I existed, and it was peace. There was nothing there. It was peace. I revisit it when I go to bed and I sleep at night and I don't have dreams, because when we're doing that, we're not existing. So, and then I wake up and I'm mad. I'm like, damn it, I'm existing again. So I know exactly what you're saying, bro. Yeah.
Erica, thank you for coming on. Pleasure as always. Good to hear some similarities there and some empathy. Yeah, you should be trying to empathize with the entire world and understanding that it needs help. Jack, hello.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
So what would be your method to cause mass extinction?
Yeah, so we wouldn't do like a virus or anything silly like that. It would be bit by bit, organized, structured, with euthanasia. So first we need to change the world, make it against suffering, take over the world, and then start carrying out animal extinction while inventing ways, finding ways to remove our dependence on them so that we can have an animal-free planet. And we should start researching how to prevent life developing again on Earth and for other planets as well if we can, and then potentially leave that job to AI and robots for the rest of the universe, basically the rest of time. Given a few billion years, they might be able to get to the next galaxy and start preventing life there as well. So who knows, right?
Whoa. Okay, so on like a daily basis, what do you do to work towards that? Just talk about it on TikTok, or like do you?
Yeah, so we're doing activism to grow the movement, and basically we need more people to join who will also grow the movement with us. So if I can get 10 people to join, and each of them gets 10 people to join, then we're going to grow, become bigger, and that's the first step to making extinction possible.
Okay, so but you would need like a very big consensus, so a lot of people with your belief to actually, and powerful rich people to actually get that moving, correct?
Yeah, we've got a few of them starting to come on board now. Someone started donating like a few $1,000s at each month, and that's just the tip of the iceberg.
But you need people in government around the world like pushing birth control and.
Well, not birth control. No, that's not going to help. We need humanity to continue for as long as possible, or for as long as it takes to do animal extinction first. So if we go extinct first, then the animals will suffer for billions of years. Humanity is the vehicle for helping other life, and we need to keep it strong until we no longer need the vehicle.
Okay. So you propose that like every single living organism should die.
They'd be better off not existing if they're in danger, which they are, right? All life is in unacceptable amounts of danger. And unless you have total extinction, then we continue our current system of the lucky ones get to have a good time at the expense of the unlucky ones. So life just generates lucky ones and unlucky ones. It's an unfair, brutal system. It's cruel, and it should be abolished.
I do agree with you in some points, but also suffering is completely subjective, right? And you keep saying people have an optimism bias when they say, well, good things could happen, or you're putting end to joy, like.
Well, suffering's not subjective, right? Because sure, it can be different for each person, but we know that there are unacceptable levels of suffering. So that's not subjective, and that is something that has to be abolished. Like if your life is just unbearable suffering and you'd be better off not being born, then there's nothing subjective about that. You objectively would have been better off not being born.
Well, no, because it's subjective opinion that you
it's not.
Be better off not being born. You could have been. You could have done a lot of good for other people.
It's not. It's really not. You can't say that a field of children being tortured to death. It's subjective whether or not they're having a good time. It doesn't work like that. You can't say, I feel lazy today, so my morality is subjective today.
It doesn't mean that just because someone experienced suffering doesn't mean they would have been better off not being born. They could have been providing money for their family.
Right? At least one of them.
They could have been a firefighter saving people.
So let me ask you this, Jack. Do you think it's acceptable to force life into a life where it is so bad that you'd be better off not being born?
Kids.
Say again?
You mean like have kids?
Is it acceptable to commit the ultimate harm, which is to force someone into a life of pure hell where they're begging for death? There is no worse harm than that. It's the ultimate harm. So is it acceptable to just do that willy-nilly?
No.
Okay, so that's what we are doing right now, and we should stop it.
But that's not what we're talking about.
Well, yeah, it is. Total extinction, it prevents suffering.
We're talking about... Sorry, we're talking about, we're defining suffering. Or, you think everything is suffering because...
No, that's a straw man. I never said that. It's actually a bit of a psychological phenomenon that people keep making that exact same straw man. They can't understand the idea of individual suffering being too much. And so they straw man me accidentally saying, oh, so you think all life is suffering all the time? It's like, well, I never said that. But they all say the exact same thing that you've just said. So that's like a stumbling block on the road to understanding this for people, I guess.
Okay, so, but I'm wondering, okay, you're telling me to differentiate individual experience versus...
Look, we have to have rules, right? And basically the only important rule is safety from the worst things possible, right? So, in this world, in this life, you have, happiness, and then you have boring life, and then it gets worse and worse and worse and worse, right? And eventually you get to insane levels of harm and suffering and cruelty and misery. So if anything's going to be against the rules, it should be causing suffering and, forcing life to exist into a life of pure suffering and pure misery where they really would have been better off not being born. A child being born into an abuser's dungeon, right? They'd be better off not being born, right?
Yeah, I know, and I get what you mean by that. And then it's very easy to refute and saying, well, the people can get out of that and their life can improve and then they can enjoy things. And then you keep calling that an optimism bias.
Yeah, because
when you obviously are,
and the ones that don't.
You obviously have a pessimistic bias. You're very Murphy's Law. Everything that can go wrong will go wrong.
No. So I'm looking at the whole picture, right? And the whole picture means, yes, we should understand that there are happy people, but we should prioritize the sufferers because they need the help. Whereas most people are doing the opposite right now. They're saying, no, forget the sufferers, just be happy. So that's wrong. That's selfish, right? That's unethical, immoral. You can't just walk
I'm
past
not.
suffering and say, not my problem.
I mean, you can.
Yeah, you can, but it's not very ethical or responsible or moral.
So is like a total extinctionist, is this like a, I guess, like a stem of philosophy?
No, it's a movement. There's dozens of us making videos and growing the movement. A few years from now, it's going to be a lot bigger than it is now. It's only started 3 years ago, and it's been growing rapidly since.
Yeah, but like, what are its like philosophical like backbones, I guess?
Yeah, you can read all about it on the website. There's a manifesto, there's an FAQ. Essentially, the only fair thing is to prioritize safety from suffering. And in this world, the most important suffering is the most extreme suffering. And so that means that, while you can be trapped in a life of hell, that's the ultimate harm. That's the thing that we need to watch out for, not stubbing your toe. There's way worse things than that. So to provide safety from the ultimate harm, and fairness, to fairly provide that, then it means total extinction.
So is it coming from a place of like, I guess, existentialism, like trying to?
No, it comes from just wanting to create a perfect world, to work towards a right world, a logical world, one that makes sense, and an empathetic world, one that does the right thing, an ethical world. There's no such thing as an ethical world where we're saying, children can be abused so that others can have fun.
I guess I just see some of the points you're seeing like align with like nihilism, like you're talking about the pre-birth versus post-death, how those are equal. So then, the lack of existence shouldn't matter. Like that seems like a very like nihilistic viewpoint. Like there's no reason for anything, nothing matters. But that's not what total extinction is.
What matters is life, right? The only thing, words don't matter, objects don't matter, life matters, right? The only thing worth caring about is living beings. Everything else can be replaced, but living beings are suffering terribly, and that is more urgent than anything else.
You're like blowing my mind then, if that's the only thing that means or is worth anything, and then your idea is total extinction. What?
Yeah, but caring about life means wanting it to be safe. So it's about caring about life, and that means wanting it to not suffer and to be safe from extreme levels of danger.
Well, yeah, dude. If there's none of it, then it's gonna be like that. Yeah, if there's none of it, then nothing can affect it.
Yeah, I mean, basically, we're in hell. So taking life out of hell and preventing it from being forced into hell is the best thing you can do.
So you don't want to preserve it.
Preserve what?
Life.
Look, if we ever manage to create technology which can provide 100% certainty that everyone will be fine, if we can create heaven, then that's fine, and that's okay. If there's safe conditions for life to exist, then it's acceptable. But nobody is safe right now. Not a single life form is safe. And until you create heaven, nobody will ever be safe, truly. And so, extinction is the only real solution for the sufferers. If you want to create heaven, go and start, promagic.com or something. I'd love to see what kind of people you get joining you, right? So we're going for the realistic solution, the one that the sufferers actually need and deserve, which is to stop their suffering as soon as possible.
Well, I don't know. Total extinction is like a very grandiose way to go about it as well.
But the problem itself is grandiose, right?
Yeah, but you're saying you're gonna have to get rid of every animal first, then it's gonna take however many.
Yeah, but if you care about life, then you've got nothing else to do, right? We've got all the time in the world.
Well, I don't know if this is such a giant thing. Why not push and try for preserving life in a good way?
Because that just causes suffering. It's not fair. Life shouldn't exist just because you think it's cool and interesting to look at.
I don't really like personally. I'm just like playing devil's advocate, I don't really care about like life in general. I don't know. I don't understand like like why there is even reality. I don't really care if there would be or not. But it just seems interesting that this is about protection.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing to protect if it's gone. There's no value in it if it's gone.
Right, but again, an empty hell is a good thing.
And then there's an empty heaven.
Well, like I said, if we ever create that, then fine. But if not, then yeah, extinction has to happen ASAP, right? And look, we can leave the rest of the mission to AI and robots. They can carry on with the rest of the galaxy and preventing life from developing on planets and whatnot.
So you're not protecting anything.
Well, yeah, we're protecting life from being forced into hell. Okay, so but the point I was making is that that AI, if it ever creates heaven, then it can start putting life into that. But the priority is extinction and ending suffering.
Yeah, so you're preventing life from being forcefully put into hell. Wouldn't extinction be directly forcing life to end?
Yeah, to be safe, forcing it to be safe.
It just seems so contradictory.
But you don't think that there's life which would be better off not existing?
Sure.
Right. So extinction helps them.
Yeah, but does extinction help the people having a good life? No. Or
right,
people having
it's
good
more
moments in their life?
Yeah, they don't need help, right? It's more important to have the absence of suffering is more important than the existence of happiness, basically. Because look, Jack, if you're saying that it's totally fine for some suffering to exist as long as there's some pleasure, then what's to stop you from abusing children?
You could just be personally against abusing children.
Right, but we should be against abusing any life form for any reason. And if you're saying suffering is fine, then what's the difference?
I mean, suffering is inevitable.
Well, yeah, which is why we should change that and put an end to it. We should abolish it. Jack, thank you for coming on. It's been a riveting conversation. Let's see what else we got going on. Okay, yeah, we can keep streaming for another hour or hour and a half, maybe. I'm going to be doing a podcast with Steve, who created the movement. I didn't create this movement, but we run a podcast together. It's on YouTube. It's also on every single major platform as well. If you search Pro Extinction Podcast on Spotify or Apple, anywhere, you'll be able to listen and maybe even watch it. It's on YouTube. That's where we film it. So yeah, we're going to be doing that podcast in about an hour or so. Until then, we can get some more conversations going. So who else is in the queue? Okay, quite a few people in. Oh, hello. Quite a few people in the queue. Let's just bring them on. Probably got a few ghosts in the queue to go through. Okay, looks like Lucian. Hello.
Oh, hello. I'm kind of concerned about. Sorry for my English, but I hope you will understand. I just came on your website, and I'm pretty sure you met so many questions. Like I'm coming with this question for you.
Yeah. Lucian, I can't hear you. Are you still there, Lucian? Okay. Well, maybe Lucian will sort his issues out.
No, we will all die anyway.
Okay, Lucian, thank you for those inspiring words. Next time I see a child that needs help or is being kidnapped, I'll just say, we're all going to die anyway. Oh, no, I'm not going to ring the police. We're all going to die anyway. Hopefully, that won't happen when Lucian is walking by, because he would just do that. All right, moving on. See, lots of ghosts in the queue. but I'm working through them. I'm trying to get someone else on. Jordan, hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
I'm all right. So I have, well, first of all, I have major contention with the entire thing. I find immense value in life. But I have a question for you. For a child that is suffering, because I just want to just hone in on a specific aspect of suffering. For a child that is suffering, if you were to approach them and you were to tell them that you were planning this movement, do you think that that child would agree with you?
I don't know. Who can
Well,
say?
think about it.
Who could possibly say?
No, think
Mo-
about it. Think about how.
Most
No,
likely
think.
not. Most likely not.
Why? Why is that?
Because we've evolved to be blindly in favor of life, no matter how much suffering it causes.
So, do you think that a child wants to hear that because they're suffering, everybody should die to end everybody's suffering?
No, but I know. I think kids are at school, right? So they're probably not really watching this stream anyway.
It's Sunday.
Yeah, but generally speaking, right?
No, it's Sunday. Everybody's home on Sunday, at least in Western countries.
Well, let the kids learn something or two. Yeah, they should learn about ethics and morality, actually. Yeah, let's teach them that causing suffering, allowing suffering is wrong. Good idea, actually.
This is such a weird thing. Oh my God. Okay, so beyond kids, do you think, like, let's say someone lost their or is about to lose their loved one and they're suffering because their loved one is about to pass. Do you think if you were to tell them that everybody should pass, because of the fact that they're going through this suffering and a whole bunch of people have gone through that similar suffering, do you think that to tell them while they're suffering that everybody should pass?
Yeah,
is
I
a
mean,
good
look,
thing?
if I were to tell that to a fellow extinctionist, they would be like, you know what, you're right. They're in a better place now. Let's celebrate, right? Celebrate the end of their danger and the beginning of their safety, right? Which is more important than anything else. So, no, I don't think they'd understand, but most humans don't understand this, right? They evolved to be animalistic, which is why they can't understand difficult concepts like this. So,
Do you
you're
have
asking, what about this person, that person? Most of them are not going to get it. Most of them won't.
do you have family?
Yeah,
And how do they feel about this?
pretty. But I don't have a family of my own, but I've got other family,
Cousins
obviously.
and aunts and stuff. How do they feel about it?
Well, my let's see, my dad doesn't really talk about it much. He just jokes about it every now and then. My mum never really speaks about it. My girlfriend, she's pretty against it, but it's not her fault. She was born that way, and yeah, that's the same with all humans, right? They're against it because they were born that way. So ultimately, I can't hold it against them. But yeah, it's difficult to have friends and family when they're all wrong and you're right, and they can't accept it. But what am I going to do? Start being a hypocrite just to fit in with them? Nah.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but I'm saying you clearly have people in your life that don't endorse this who love you, right? And you're advocating for the deaths of all of them.
No, I'm advocating for their safety.
You're advocating for their death.
No, safety. And actually, I'm not even advocating for any humans to pass away anytime soon anyway. We need humanity to continue for hundreds of years while we do animal extinction first.
That's such okay. Last thing before I leave. How do you know that this isn't a cult?
Because it's based on logic and rationality. You can ask any question and it will have a rational answer.
So what happens if when the time comes for a human deletion to occur? What happens if people decide to stay?
Yeah, but we'll just use euthanasia.
What if they don't want to use it?
Well, we wouldn't ask them to do it. That would be cruel, right? So we would do it for them.
You would do it for them?
Well, yeah, I mean, we have to do it for animals, right? They can't do it. And, lots of humans are, disabled. They can't do it for themselves. And yeah.
What if there's an able-bodied human that says, I don't want to do this?
When you say able-bodied, that's one thing. But an able able-minded human, wouldn't want to be in danger.
Okay, but what if when the time comes, there are able-bodied and able-minded people who don't want to do it?
Well, if you're rational, then you would be against being in danger, basically. So
What is the
they wouldn't.
plan for when they don't want to do it?
Well, just use force, right? Forcefully.
So you're gonna force people to kill themselves?
Well, no, like I said, that would be cruel. We would do it for them.
You're forcing, so you're killing people.
Well, it's a vet doesn't kill animals, right? It uses euthanasia.
What? No, I'm saying, okay, whenever you're talking about people, you're saying forcefully. So if you're talking about forcefully killing a person, clearly if that wants to live, you're taking away their choice to live.
Yeah, but humans can't make rational decisions, so we have to do it for them.
So if humans can't make rational decisions, what makes your decision more rational than their decision?
Yeah,
to leave?
so the people in the pro-extinction movement are genetic anomalies. We are more rational. We are humanity 2.0, basically. So we are genetically more capable.
Say that one more time.
What's the difference is that we are genetically different, right?
You are genetically different, so you're genetically superior to people who don't want to live?
Yeah.
Everybody in the chat, he believes he's genetically superior to people who want to live. All right, thank you. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to admit it.
All right.
Okay, well, what's the alternative? Is to be someone that's like, life is a great thing. I'm going to have 10 kids, and, if half of them end up, depressed, then who cares, right? So, you've got that, and then you've got, danger is a bad thing. Life shouldn't exist in danger, and the dangers outweigh the potential benefits. So I don't want to be in this danger. So yes, the rational decision is to prioritize safety over reckless, dangerous fun and existence, basically. So look, I could get hit by a car tomorrow, become a vegetable, and have no access to euthanasia. I don't want to be in that danger. Nobody should be in that danger. And part of the optimism bias that says, oh, I'll be fine, right? I'll be fine. Nah, I'm not in danger. Nah, surely I'll be fine. And then you have kids and say, nah, they'll be fine. And then Madeleine McCann. What more do I need to say? All right, moving on. Hello, how you doing?
Oh, hi, James. I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
I have a question. Are you serious or are you just LARPing and rage baiting people here?
Yeah, no, it's serious. The thing is that the suffering in the world is serious, and so our movement is serious as well. Someone has to be serious for them because nobody else is.
Okay, but are you pro-eugenics by any chance?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. So actually you would be pro something like a T4 action?
What's that, a Terminator?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Well, I mean, I don't really know what you're asking, to be honest, but...
What? Are you a fan of Mustache Man? That's my question.
Get better questions than that, right? Thing is, right, if you're truly intelligent, unlike that person, then you'll be able to ask real questions, right? Engaging questions, not just resort to Godwin's law. Hello, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good, thank you. I first saw your content when you were making a video about how vegans still cause suffering, and I thought that was very interesting. Are you vegan at the moment yourself?
No, I did go vegan, but I had to quit due to allergies, and then I joined the movement and then learned that it would have caused more suffering anyway.
Yeah, right. No, I think it's a really interesting idea. Would you see it as terrorism though, if you forcefully take the lives of people who want to live?
No, because the police do that every day, right?
well, for innocent people?
Well, you know, we make decisions for others every day, right? Governments make decisions for everyone, and you know, they go against their will all the time. So yeah, you know,
Yeah.
people end up getting killed because the government decided it. That's just the way the world works.
What do you think about all people and all animals, I guess, just having the option to end their own lives at any given point?
Yeah, that's, you know, firstly, it's too scary of a thing to do that, even if you need to. And secondly,
Right, that's
animals,
cruel in itself.
yeah, and animals can't make that decision. Babies can't make that decision. Children can't make that decision, and disabled people can't make that decision. So only a tiny minority of life on this planet actually has that privilege to be able to make that decision. And even then, most of those struggle too much to actually make that decision. Again, even if they need to.
Mm-hmm. And like, why don't you take your own life as like after that happens, nothing should matter to you anymore because like nothing will exist from your perspective, you know?
All right. Well.
So like.
Yeah, but it would still exist, though, right?
Yeah, but it like
it would be selfish to do that. So when I was saying that we're genetically different from other people and most humans, we're selfless, whereas most humans are by default, and not like to be disparaging, but on a technical, scientific level, most humans are locked into selfishness, whereas we're locked into selflessness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's really interesting. I like hearing what you have to say. You're very articulate.
Thank you, Matt. Yeah, check out my other videos. You know, follow, read the website, read the manifesto and the FAQ. And yeah, you know, if you want to come up again, have more questions, then yeah, get back in the queue. Will, hello, how are you?
Hey, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Sorry, I wasn't prepared.
Well, that's convenient because I was meant to get Hans on next, and I totally forgot.
How you doing? Finally. So basically, I've heard you did say about, well, forcefully causing total extinction and all that. Actually, I've heard, yes, actually, maybe you're saying, you know, life can be kind of a suffering and obviously something of a pain. And, you know, you're asking if disabled people could not be able to remove their own selves, and, you know, babies and animals, you know, if you're saying that they cannot speak in their own language. But, you know, one decisive question, what exactly, you know, some guy asked why you cannot remove yourself, then why is it selfish then for you, not for others? You're saying forcefully you can remove others.
Well, it's about providing safety, right? So if I just provided myself safety and, you know, forgot about everyone else, then that would be unethical, selfish, right?
I see the point exactly. If it's going to be selfish, if you can do some things for yourself exactly and then damage for your body, but I just don't understand how it's. Wait a second. So it's only for the people who are disabled and animals and exactly for children, right?
No, all life should go extinct.
Okay, I see the point exactly. So so everything that goes extinct, you mean, goes in peace, right?
Well, no, it shouldn't be like slow and optional. Otherwise, it will never happen, right?
Okay,
you can't say, right, everyone, you have the choice to go extinct now. Right, you've got 10 minutes. I'll be back, and I expect it to be done in 10 minutes. Right? Guess how many are going to do it? None. So yeah, you have to do it forcefully. It can't be by choice. It can't be optional.
Okay, I see exactly. I mean, I know a lot of people are obviously doing such thing, and then, you know, they don't want to live due to mental illness issues. I mean, even I had this kind of a problem, but I don't anymore because I value the life, especially. But I don't know about forcefully removing. I don't know exactly why forcefully, because, you know,
well, life is forced to exist, right? Life is forced to exist, and yeah, you have to use force to defend life. Otherwise, it gets tortured by bad actors, right? You know, it's like saying, you might as well say, you know, the police should never lay a hand on anyone. The police shouldn't carry weapons. The police shouldn't have tasers. They should just the police should be naked and just dancing through the streets and never try to stop anyone. You have to use force to defend life.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. Exactly. Well, right now, even if I'm gonna go, there's gonna be a lot of people questioning you and calling you something. But I just understood what you exactly were meaning for forcefully. So yeah, I didn't know really start, but I was reading now, understood what you meant exactly about that. And so yeah, obviously, I guess I'm gonna go then, and then other people are gonna come up now. So well, good luck with the others questioning things and then calling you something probably, and they're gonna probably cuss you out. So yeah.
Probably. Thank you for coming on, Hans. And just in case you're a German, Deutsch, we do have lots of Germans in the movement. One of the main leaders of the movement is actually German in Nuremberg and does street protests every single weekend, which you can join it for. And he does live streams on TikTok as well. Hello, how you doing?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
I'm kind of I'm listening, and I'm hearing a lot of very absolute conclusions that are reached from you starting with very non-absolute premises. Like you're starting from places where you say, well, this is this way and therefore, but what you're starting is your premise isn't as solid as you are making it out to be. So you're saying, well, the only logical conclusion is a total extinction event because there is so much suffering. Is everybody suffering?
No.
So not everybody is suffering.
But everyone is in danger of suffering.
What does that mean?
Well, everyone can get hit by a car tomorrow, right?
So
yes, everyone is in danger of unacceptable amounts of suffering. Yeah.
So the potential that I could be hit by a car means that the logical conclusion is to kill myself before that happens. Is that what you're saying?
Depends what you mean by logical conclusion, but the thing is we have to do a universal strategic way to end all suffering. So just random acts of violence like that is not gonna actually cause total extinction. So we have to do it in an organized and planned way. But yes, non-existence is superior to being in danger.
According to you?
No, it's just truth. It's a fact.
Where could I find this fact and this truth other than out of your mouth?
Well, the funny thing about that is that humans like yourself are unable to understand and make responsible decisions for life, which is why they have kids and force them to suffer, and why they survive so that they can have more kids as well and endure suffering to that end. So this only benefits evolution. It doesn't actually benefit the life forms going through it. And yeah, it is absolutely, the rational decision is non-existence over unlimited and unacceptable danger.
But there's people who aren't experiencing this danger.
Yeah, but
that
they
you're
could.
so
They might do, right? They might do tomorrow. And there are people that are experiencing it.
And your argument, therefore, is the only logical conclusion is to preemptively act against that.
The point is that allowing suffering is unethical, right? Because if you're going to say that suffering and causing suffering, allowing suffering is ethical and acceptable, then basically you're supporting child abuse at that point, right? You're saying that it's okay, right? Why wouldn't it be okay if suffering is fine?
You're acting as if there's an actor involved. Suffering.
Yeah, there is. There are actors involved. There are actors involved, right? That's us. We can say, yeah, I'm going to be a bad person and let them suffer, or no, I'll do the right thing.
This is a good, I don't know if you're doing a bit.
No, it's true, not. Right? This is the logical conclusion of logic, rationality,
to you, according to
ethics.
You. According
but
to
you can't defend, your counter argument. So yeah, it's universal, right? It's not to me. It's
you're not defending. You're not defending your
true.
argument.
It's objective facts, bro. It is.
You can keep saying objectively true, but it's not objective.
And you can keep not providing counter arguments, but that just makes your position look a lot worse because it is worse.
Okay, here's your argument. You could potentially hurt tomorrow, so you should kill yourself so you don't hurt. That's your logical argument, and
No,
you're
it's
saying
not.
it
No,
is
it's not.
substantial. Oh, it's not. Okay, correct my
Well,
interpretation of the
the
argument,
difference is that
please.
we have responsibility to others, right? So people are saying, James, why don't you just unalive yourself? And it's like, well, because other life needs help, basically. So, look, if you
Are they
if,
asking for your help?
look,
Are they asking
if
for
there
your
was,
help? Are they
well,
asking for your help?
the dead can't speak, mate. Yeah.
Are the
So
people who are alive asking for your
yes,
help to
yes,
die?
yes, absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah, not sure. I get messages
Sure.
every single day.
Well, clearly, if you get messages from people who want to die, that means you should be given the power over life and death over the entire planet.
I never
Clearly,
said it meant that.
those two
I
connecting.
never said it
But
meant
that's
that.
what
No.
you're
That
saying.
was no.
You're
You
saying that you are part of a genetically superior class that's able to make these decisions that other people are unable to make. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Am I incorrect in that?
I can prove it.
You can prove what? So wait, hold on a second. So you're so genetically superior. Hold on a second. So you are suffering so much. You're in so much pain in your life
Why are you
that you
strawmanning? Why are you
decide
strawmanning? I never said that.
you didn't. Oh, okay, you're not suffering.
You're strawmanning. I never said that.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
So
my bad.
where did you get that? Where did you get that? You just imagined it, right?
I just admitted it was my bad. Okay, you can drop it, but so let me make sure I understand this correctly. So the people who are genetically superior and have this inborn power to make decision over life and death of the entire planet, these are people who are completely satisfied or unsatisfied with life. They are suffering or they are not suffering.
So the person that made this movement is one of the most privileged people on the planet. He's never suffered in his life, but he understands that others are suffering too much and that we should help them. Yeah, I get it, because you're coming from this position of surely nobody would do a good thing. People would surely only do it out of personal feelings, right? Not out of responsibility, but out of
No, I didn't think
spite
that at
and
all.
hate.
I didn't
That's
think that at
exactly what
all.
you just suggested, without
I didn't
realizing.
think that at all. No,
You
no,
did.
it's not.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
No,
you did.
no, no, no. Oh, okay, you got me.
Well, you did. Look, people come on my
You're
show and
psychic.
do the same thing every day.
You're genetically
So I know what
superior.
it is. I've seen
You're
it before.
genetically superior and psychic, and you read minds. No,
Well,
I'm
like I
laughing
said,
because
people say the same
it's
thing
a
every day on my
ludicrous
show.
conclusion to reach. I'm laughing because it is a ludicrous conclusion. You
So,
look around and you say,
okay,
"Well, there's
so you
people
think
suffering.
suffering's...
The only answer is to kill everybody." And I'm a
What's your answer?
terrible person if I
What's
don't
your
do
answer?
that.
What's your answer?
What's my what?
So do you have a better answer?
To what? The fact that there's suffering?
Yeah.
There is no answer.
Why not? It's extinction.
Why do you suppose there is?
Because
Why do you
we've looked
suppose
into
that
it.
we are able to? Why do you suppose that we are able to and that we're even supposed to end suffering?
Well,
What makes it beyond the realm of possibility that you maybe are just not actually advanced enough emotionally to recognize that suffering does come as part of life, of everybody's life?
we know that.
Maybe
We know
you're
it.
actually the one
We
who's
already
not
know that.
evolved enough to recognize that that's how this works.
I already know that. I already know that suffering's a part of life.
Right, and you don't want to accept it.
Well, I'm saying that nobody should be forced to suffer. It's wrong. You're
And yet
saying
it
that they
is.
should,
And yet
right?
life is. And yet life is.
So you think some suffering's acceptable as long as we have pleasure, right?
No, I'm saying that life is. And that you're trying to impose your own...
Wow, life is. That's an
standards.
amazing argument. That's so...
It's not an argument,
wow.
It's an observation. It's an observation.
Wow, such an important...
I'm not making an argument.
Then why
I'm
are you
not making
saying
an
it?
argument.
Why are you making that observation?
Because you asked me what is the solution. I said there is no solution.
Well, why is
that
it
is
then?
life.
I'm telling you, total extinction is the solution to suffering. Why wouldn't that solve it?
Oh, okay.
Well,
total extinction is the solution to life. Do you
no,
hear how
the solution
dumb you
to
sound?
suffering. Well, you're straw manning. Okay, that's it. It's the solution to suffering. The amount of straw mans there was just ridiculous. You know, it was just one after another. Like it genuinely, at least 10 straw mans. Okay, and wow, if I wasn't the most patient I've ever been with those straw mans, wow, I think I deserve a bit of an applause for that, for the patience that I displayed there. Yeah, it was unbearable, Shroom. Absolutely unbearable. Terrible. Okay, let's see who we got next.
Hey, what's
Hello.
going on?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, so I keep hearing you say straw man, and it's like interesting to hear you use logic this way. Can I ask you, like, what do you think about how Greece unalived Socrates and then presented themselves as rational?
Yeah, I don't really think about it very often. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure. Okay, moving on to the next person. Right, Tigger coming up next. Oh, hang on. Steve is asking about the podcast. Hello, how's it going, Tigger?
Hey, bud. Who is suffering?
Loads of people, animals, humans, aliens, maybe.
Okay.
Do you
And
agree?
part of life is to have an experience.
For the lucky ones, yeah, but for the unlucky ones, it's really bad.
So, because some people have a bad experience, everything should be extinct?
Yes, exactly. No suffering is acceptable, right? No amount of suffering is acceptable. Do you agree, or do you think suffering is acceptable?
I think suffering is a perception.
Okay, but suffering does exist. So, do you think that we should allow suffering or not?
What do you mean allow it?
Well, there's loads of suffering going on right now.
I can't change your perception.
No,
I can't
I'm saying,
change anybody's perception.
Look, we can either abolish suffering with total extinction, or we can do nothing and allow the suffering. So do you think, we should work towards no suffering, or do you think we should just allow all of the suffering to keep going?
I can't allow anybody to suffer. That's their perspective.
Well, no. Like if you walk past, a child and they beg you for help, right? And you just ignore them, then you're allowing them to suffer, right?
Why would I ignore that? That's not a human thing to do.
Hypothetically, Tigger, I'm trying to help you understand the logic here. You're struggling hard.
So, okay, let me ask you another thing. I heard you say that you want to extinct everything, all life.
Yeah.
Is that even possible? How would you even do that? Like, life started by like little micro. How would you extinct all that?
Well, yeah. I mean, think about it. We've got
life is gonna come back anyways, even if we try to extinct it all.
Well, yeah, but the point of our movement is to try and prevent life from coming back as well. That's the most important part.
You can't, even if us as humans tried to do that, it's not even possible. Life would come back on the planet. Life comes from the sun and energy around the world, like in the universe. Like we can't stop that.
Well, you
can't.
That.
It'll come back.
Tigger.
It'll come back, and then things will perceive however they want to.
Tigger, calm down. Okay, look.
I'm like not understanding what you're trying to explain.
Let me explain then. Shh. Look, we got the internet 30 years ago, right? Imagine the technology and science 1,000 years from now, 100 million years from now, okay? It will definitely be possible by then, and animal suffering will continue for billions of years unless we stop it. So, look, extinction's not that difficult. You're just limiting...
What animals are suffering? What are they suffering from? What are animals suffering from?
Well, most of them get eaten alive, right? Which is one of the the worst experiences possible.
That's the part of experiencing life. It's a circle. It's energy going around.
But, would you want
We're
to
just
be eaten
having
alive?
an experience,
Well, then go and climb into
There's
a...
no the only suffering is inside your perception of life.
Go and climb into a lion's pen in the zoo then, if it's, a great part of life. Why aren't you experiencing, the joys of being eaten alive yourself? Because you're a hypocrite.
I am enjoying...
Thank you, Tigger. Oh, he was about to say, no, I am currently at the zoo. I've just climbed in. The tigers... actually, I've only got one arm left. I'm holding the phone with my left arm. Tigers... run off with the other one, and the cubs are coming along now. They're starting to nibble on my legs, actually. Yeah, look, let me go on camera. I'm sure he was about to go on camera and show us that. But yeah, obviously, if you're being eaten alive by tigers, then yes, please say that everyone else should be eaten alive by animals as well. I'd support your right to do that if you're currently being eaten alive. Okay. Moving on. Hello, how you doing?
What's up?
Yeah, not much. You?
Not much. Not much.
Good. Do you have any questions?
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Go for it. Go for it. Let's
What
hear it.
makes you the guy?
I'm not the guy. I didn't start this movement. I'm just one of many. So yeah, lots of us are starting to wake up and realize that suffering is unacceptable, and that we should fight for a suffering-free world, create a world with no suffering, and no possibility of suffering as well. It's the only ethical thing to do.
Ethics. So ethics is that's what you're mostly concerned about.
Ethics, morality, logic. Yeah.
So walk me through the ethics and morality of murdering human beings against their will who aren't on board with your idea. Walk me through how that's done practically. What are the logistics of that?
You see that the more unethical thing is forcing life to exist in unsafe conditions, right? So
according to you.
No, it's.
Oh, yeah. You can't just say that. You can't just say, well, the more immoral thing. According to what? Where's that coming from?
From understanding.
No, I don't know. That's what I'm asking you. Tell me where I can find this.
Wow. Thank God I'm in a patient mood today. Wow. Okay, moving on. Noisy Attic coming up next. Hello, how you doing?
Yo! Yay!
How's it going?
I'm good. What is suffering?
It's like pain, I guess.
Pain? That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, and life? What's life?
Do you need a dictionary?
No, there's a lot of life that doesn't feel pain.
Okay, great. Try Google. What else you got? You got Yahoo, Bing, DuckDuckGo. You could probably search some definitions on there. Or just buy a dictionary, right? A hardback. Not enough people using dictionaries like that guy. Our education system's a mess. Look at the people coming on saying I don't know basic words, right? Shock it. Hello, how you doing? Hello. Anybody home? Lloydness. Okay, we can't hear you, Lloydness, so we're going to move on to Mr. Drummer. Okay, we're going to try and bring up Mr. Drummer next. Mr. Drummer, hello. What have you got for us?
Hello. I wanted to debate actually about your ideology of causing total extinction.
Yeah.
So, Alright, so you want to kill everybody on this planet and universe with the technology that you want to create. Yeah, that's the idea. So you want to kill all the life, but humans or any animal don't actually want to die. So let me explain myself clearly more. So let's take example. If you go and stab a deer, for example, the deer will try to escape. He will not try to die. That's why would he want to die?
So you think dying is a bad thing?
Yeah, it's actually a bad thing because the animals don't want to die. They don't want to experience pain. Actually,
Okay, do you think dying is the worst thing?
Yeah, but you're trying to prevent life. Am I getting that correct?
So look, if dying is a bad thing, and you think dying is bad, then extinction is your friend, right? Because it means that less dying will happen.
Yeah, but you're trying to make mass extinction, so no life will ever be born. That's right.
Yeah, so that nobody has to suffer, so that others can have fun at their expense. It's the only ethical thing.
If you want to prevent safety, you want safety for the people on this world, you should start creating technology instead of trying to kill everybody on the planet, because that's not 100% going to
Promagic.com.
Yeah, but you won't be able to.
So what are you going to start promagic.com? Because look, you're the 10th person to come up and say this now, and I say, okay, great, well, go start the movement then. If you mean it, then why don't you do it?
Yeah, but I won't do it because I don't have the technology, you know. But like, yeah, but I'm just trying to
Well,
make
but
an
I do.
example for you.
Do I have magic?
Yeah, you don't have magic, but like you're trying to just kill everybody. But like, if you want safety for everyone, you need to firstly just you need to create technology to make people safe, not kill them. That's not safety.
And
That's
how are you going to do that for wild animals? How's it going to work?
wild animals. They don't have consciousness. They don't have consciousness.
Okay, well, that's we're animals, so we have consciousness. That's just an insane thing to say, and that's the exact same type of person that will go and kick a dog in the face and say, well, it doesn't matter that they don't have consciousness. So we don't want that kind of person on the stream. Animal abusers. Hello, Danio. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, but I'm just wondering one thing. In the title, you say forcefully causing total extinction of all life is the only right thing to do.
Yeah.
By right, do you mean like morally and ethically?
Yes.
And are you an atheist?
Yeah.
And if you're an atheist, where do you get your morals from?
Well, intelligence.
Okay, but I'm a moral emotivist, and I think that all morals are just like expressions of emotions. So by you saying that you want to like end all life and end all suffering, I think you just mean that you don't like suffering. But
So you think it's okay to abuse children?
I think that it's neither wrong nor okay.
So it's okay then. If I want it to be okay, it's okay.
Well, I think that's just the logical conclusion from atheism.
So if someone says, yeah, I've been abusing kids all day today, what do you think about that? You'd say, nice.
No, because I just said that I'm a moral motivist, so I don't like it, and because I don't like it, I will report it. But I don't think that it's like in the law of the universe.
So you would do it just out of dislike, right? So if they were wearing a red hat and the child abuser's wearing a red hat and red's your favorite color, you wouldn't report it. But if you're in a bad mood and they were wearing a blue hat, you would report it.
No, because child abuse
Danio,
makes me much
do
more...
better. Okay, look, subjective morality is literally what child abusers use every day to say, I don't have to feel guilty about this, right? That's all it is. Subjective morality is just for people that want to escape moral obligation, who want to be able to walk past, children screaming for help and say, oh, that would be too much effort. Luckily it's morality is subjective. I've got somewhere to be anyway, but yeah, morality is subjective, kiddo. You're on your own. That's the kind of guy we want, right? That's the kind of, if you're a kid in need of help, you want that guy to walk past, right? Morality is subjective. Let him abuse you. Oh my god. Okay. Hello, how you doing?
I didn't know this. Yeah, I didn't know that. I'm all right, but I didn't know that there was even such a thing as "quote unquote" total extinction activism.
Yeah, it started 3 years ago. It's been growing rapidly all over the world ever since.
How many members are there now?
Dozens.
Dozens? Just dozens?
Yeah, it's we're at the start of the movement, really. Yeah.
That's so. Just to be clear,
Well, what are you going to do? Start with 1 million people on the day one? That's just not realistic, is it?
It's just, well, obviously not. But it's the fact that there's only dozens means that. I mean, there are a lot. It
means it's a new movement. Wow, what a tragedy. So you're the type of person that's like, I agree with this, but it sounds difficult, and I'm a coward, so I'm not going to get involved.
When did I say that I was?
I'm extrapolating, but I'm doing. I'm thinking for you, because you can't think for yourself. Cool. All right. I'm glad everyone got that. All right. Moving on to the next person. ETH transactions. Ooh, Ethereum, perhaps. Okay. No, they've gone off. Moving on. There comes the gaslighting. Hello, how you doing?
Yo,
What's good?
what's up? What's up, man? So, I'm not trying to be facetious here or anything like that, but like, if you want everyone to die, like, who's to say that you're not just the last man on Earth imagining everyone? So, like, why don't if you want everyone to
Because I
die,
actually
why
woke
don't you
up
just
this morning.
die? Like, what are you talking about?
Because I actually woke up this morning. I'm not still dreaming. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This stream is a great example of what's wrong with humanity, right? The guests that come up are just brilliant examples of. Yeah, I am genetically superior to that. Okay. Like, I'm not afraid to admit that I'm superior to those people being like, huh? Why don't you just jump off a bridge, soldier? Huh? Yeah, I'm better than that. We should do better than that. We should all aspire to be much, much better than that. It's super cringe. Okay, moving on. Next person coming up. Hello, how you doing?
Hi. Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you.
I actually don't want to debate you. I just have a few questions because I kind of agree with what you say.
Okay.
I wanted to know if, like, how would you go on about the extinctions? Because there were people who would join willingly, but I don't think everybody would. So how would we,
Yeah, so our movement is donating sperm regularly so that we can get more of our genetics out there. And we're growing the movement with videos and activism so that we can get everyone who will join to join, right? There's lots of people out there in the world that still haven't heard of the movement, still haven't had it explained to them. So we've got a lot of work to do getting more people on board. And the more people we get, the more powerful we'll get as a movement, the more options we'll have going forward.
you would donate sperm to have more people die? I don't get it. I don't
No,
get
so
the
we need, the thing is, right, most of the world is genetically in favor of suffering. So we need to change that. We need more people who have better genetics and can understand that suffering is unacceptable and that they should try and abolish it. So yeah, making videos and asking people to join the movement, that's one way of growing the movement, but we also need to do it genetically as well.
Are you trolling?
No. Like, how else are you going to do it?
I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to
Why not?
bring more
Why?
people into the earth with the purpose to die.
Well, look, those people are going to come onto the earth anyway, right? Donating sperm doesn't mean more children, it just means different children.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your questions. And no, we're not trolling. We are actually donating sperm. I haven't started it yet, but other people in the movement are, including the person that started the movement. And yeah, it is a genetic thing. Humanity evolved to be against ethics and responsibility and in favor of irresponsibly forcing life to exist. And yeah, like in the same way that a monkey is not going to be, responsible or ethical, humans aren't either. So we need better humans, better genetics, and yeah, we can keep saying, please join the movement, but if we think about it this way, right? If we can donate loads of sperm, we can have thousands of children. Each person donating sperm can, over time, have thousands and thousands of kids. So 20, 30 years from now, that means there's going to be a lot more activists for extinction, doing the right thing, working for a better world. And why not, right? So, yeah, that's absolutely the right thing to do. And as the founder of the movement, I'm glad that he is doing it because, he had the best brain for it. So, yeah, we need more of that. Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I really agree with you. There's no reason like we're all alive. we're just abusing and suffering altogether. We should just die. Yeah, this is a good movement, and I'm part of it. Yeah, we need you, James. Keep going.
Thank you. I will keep going. I appreciate your support. If you haven't joined the movement yet, then you should join it properly. Join the Discord. There's loads of people are joining the Discord and starting to get active there now. So the server's getting pretty active with people doing activism. Just today, I saw a new activist who started their TikTok channel and started posting videos. Well, yeah, we have dozens of people doing activism every single day. And that's growing. We're getting more and more people on board who are understanding, yes, we have to take action. We have to get more people on board with being against suffering. And yes, spread the message, get people to join the movement so that they can also spread the message and join the movement. And it's working. Yeah, the movement's growing. We've got people donating money now. We've got thousands of dollars a month coming in through donations. And because it's an important thing, the end of all suffering. What else could possibly be more important? Nothing. So yeah, people are getting on board with this, donating to it, putting their time into it. We have to end all suffering as soon as we can. Hello, how you doing?
Amazing.
Great. What have you got for us today then?
Oh, James, I'm looking for a good faith conversation with you.
Okay, let's try it.
Alright. Do you think there's a distinction? When I say distinction, I mean a difference between harm and suffering.
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't thought about
You don't know? Okay. What do you think suffering is? Like, would you say suffering is just some consequential nature of an action?
Suffering is a consequence of having a nervous system and being alive in a world that makes you suffer.
So having a nervous system. Okay. So is it possible for someone to not be conscious and to be harmed?
Yeah.
Is it possible for something to not be sentient and be harmed?
Yes.
Okay. So, when you're saying that as humans, because we have agency, we should end the suffering of all things living, then? You don't think that suffering exists only within a mind, then?
Well, yeah, I mean, it exists within minds, and those minds need help, right? They need to not suffer.
Wait, suffering itself only exists within the mind? But hold up, if we just backtrack real quick. So I asked you very simply, is it possible for something or someone to be harmed with or without consciousness and sentience? And then you said yes, but now you're saying suffering exists within the mind. So if no mind was existent, therefore suffering does not exist. So if I was to say, James, if humans, if animals, if there was no mind existent upon reality, there was just blades of grass, for example, you would say, oh, the blade of grass which had a rock, fall onto it, there was no suffering.
Yeah.
Do you not see the problem with that? You're saying suffering can only exist in the sense of the idea is existent, not because of a rock fell onto a blade of grass, and so that blade of grass...
I honestly have no idea what you're talking about, right? This is going completely over my head. I have no idea what you're trying to say.
Okay. Why can harm or suffering only exist in the mind?
Why do you ask?
Well, because that's for justification. So...
What justification? Where? What are you talking about?
Okay. So you, James, you believe us as humans, because we have agency, we should end the suffering of all things existent, correct?
Not. I wouldn't say we have agency and therefore we should. I would just say we should. We should.
We should.
We should help.
Okay, but...
We should do the right thing. We should work towards an ethical world where there's no suffering.
Right. So that's going to be an ought claim.
Yeah.
How is that any different to what I just said?
Well, look, if you want to be a good person, then yeah, you ought to do it. That's what I'm saying.
Right. So when we look at the expenditure of an ought claim, so something is ought to be the case. Now, you're saying that because we have the agency, because we're able to rationalize, we're able to make these conscious decisions, therefore, we should end the suffering of all things existent. Is this or is this not what your movement believes in fundamentally?
No.
So you don't think because we have the agency we should end the suffering of all things existent?
No, I don't think you're obsessed with agency. That's some sort of philosophy obsession you've got. We don't rely on.
This is the justification.
We
you've
don't
given
rely on
previous
cringe
times.
things. We don't rely on cringe stuff like that.
Okay, so why is it ought to be the case that us as humans should end
We
the
also
suffering
don't
of
rely
everything?
on cringe philosophy either. Look, thanks for coming on. I get it, but this is not a philosophy zone, right? Look, this is for real philosophy, real ethics and morality, not like, let's define it. Let's define is, right? That's just like, it's in, you never win with these people, right? You can't win because they'll just be like, well, define that word. And it's like, oh, not another definition. Hello, how you doing?
Not too bad, host. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. So, I mean, I think forcefully is the thing that's in question here. Why would you think that it's forcefully good to cause an extinction event?
Well, it doesn't have to be an event, right? We'd most likely be structured and organized. That's our preference. But yeah, it would end all suffering, and suffering is unacceptable. So that's the right thing to do.
So you're saying it doesn't have to be a complete extinction event. There could be some type of structure where we slowly inch towards that, right?
That's preferable, actually, yeah.
Okay.
Because that way we can be more thorough.
So why would you be like opposed to someone going out there and just like shooting up a mall and just like killing random people and then killing themselves? In your view, wouldn't that be some type of good?
But no, we need more humans until after we've completed animal extinction, which might take hundreds of years. So for now, we need more humans.
Yeah, but I'm saying to you, that instance that I just spoke about, why would that not be a good thing under your view?
Because we need
like,
more
let's
humans.
say someone goes into
Because we need more humans. So less humans is bad.
School, and they murder all of
less
the
humans is
children
bad.
to stop their future suffering.
Yeah, like I said.
But you're saying humans innately suffer, right?
But we have to think about the bigger picture, not just random acts.
This isn't a random act. This is an intentional act to reduce suffering under your view.
Okay. Intentional acts then, whatever. We only authorized and organized acts should be done.
Yeah, sure. So let's say you authorize and you organize this attack on the school.
We wouldn't. So
why not? Wouldn't that be a good thing?
Well, you're not listening, K-Miz, and so I'm going to kick you out, right? I've told you 100 times we need more humans, and you're just asking the same question. You can't understand. Some sort of comprehension deficiency.
Oh shit, I didn't expect to come up here, man. What's up? How's your day going?
Good, how are you?
I'm having a shit day today. But it's great. I mean, I understand what you're coming from, dude, but like I think that like another option is just to make the world a better place for everybody instead of blowing everything up.
Yeah, but the thing is that you'd need magic to do that, right? So it's not realistic.
Well, if everybody works together,
then we can do extinction, but if everyone works together, we can't do magic.
You are fun. You are fun. Okay.
Look, you can't end all suffering without either magic or extinction.
So that is like profoundly sad. That you think that we can't just like at least better ourselves. We can't at least make the world better for you.
Yeah, no, look, if we control the world tomorrow, we would make a perfect society for humanity, a utopia, the best world possible, just the best everything. But we'd be doing animal extinction at the same time, and we'd be doing prevention of life developing for Earth and maybe the rest of the universe. So as soon as humanity is no longer useful to providing safety from suffering, that's when it will either go extinct or go into heaven if it's created technology by then to do it, right?
Hold on a minute. You believe in an afterlife, but you think that the best way to get there.
The thing is that life is in unsafe conditions right now. So if we can engineer heaven, then that would be the only safe conditions acceptable for life. Now, I'm not saying that that's possible. I'm saying that we're going to do extinction for animals. We're going to do extinction for humanity. The only exception is that if humanity during that time somehow engineers heaven, then maybe it will be safe for life to continue and ethical and acceptable. But we're not holding out for that. It might happen. If humanity gets lucky, then great. If not, it goes extinct.
So, like, hear me out, right? What if you just make the world better for you, fuck everybody else?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, in a sense, I am doing that as well, right? This is not a world I would want to live in, right? I would rather live in a rational world, a logical world. So even on a selfish level, this benefits me. I can't just keep pretending that, this society is good. That would torture me to be so dishonest. Hello, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Good. Yeah, I'm just kind of catching up. My opinion is, God, what is my opinion? I'm literally being thrown comments back and forth in the comment section. My opinion is, yeah, essentially, we're not in a how do I word it? We're not in a safe environment to raise children at the moment. We're not in a safe. I wouldn't want to raise a child in the environment we're in now.
Yeah, I would say that there's no environment safe enough to raise children in, except for heaven, right?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not religious, so
Neither am I.
I'll leave that to you.
Neither am I. I'm just saying that this life should only exist in perfect and safe standards and conditions.
Exactly.
Right? That's my point.
So yeah, I wouldn't feel happy raising a child in the environment we're in. I think there's way too much going on.
Yeah, but my point is that you shouldn't be happy raising a child in any unsafe conditions, right? Life shouldn't be forced to exist in conditions where it can, be begging for death, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm at an age where I should be having children. In the inverted commas, like you should be doing this at this age and whatever. But I don't feel like it's an appropriate thing to do. I think it's. I don't know how to word it. I wouldn't feel comfortable raising a child at the moment with what's going on in the world, and it's not. I mean,
it's not the kind of world that life should exist in, is it?
Exactly that. Yeah.
That's it. Pro extinction.
Yeah. There we go. That was my point.
Thank you, Laurie. But
You're okay.
the only thing I would say is that, firstly, we need more humans for now, because until we've done animal extinction, which could take hundreds or thousands of years, we can't let humanity go extinct first. Otherwise, animals will suffer worse for billions of more years. So, if we just hold out for a little bit longer, then we can prevent billions of years for animals. Secondly, so we need more kids right now. That it's better for suffering that way. It might not be good for your kid, but if you want to do what's best for the world, join the movement. And another thing is that essentially, if you care about suffering itself, then having more kids is also better for suffering in our current context. In the same way that veganism is bad for suffering, antinatalism is also bad for suffering because it causes more suffering for wild animals. For each human that is born, thousands, if not millions, of wild animals will be prevented from existing because, your house, right, that prevents wild animals living there. The road that you're driving on, all of the farmland and factory land that's dedicated to you, right? All of that stuff, and the city that you're living in and all of the services that benefit you and working for you, all of this actually prevents a lot more wild animals from existing. If you chop down a forest to create some chopsticks and furniture, that actually prevents a lot of suffering. So we live in such a messed up world that being vegan and antinatalist actually causes more and worse suffering and is bad for suffering, bad for the end of suffering. We're actually working towards a world where antinatalism and veganism can both reduce suffering instead of causing it. But right now they do. Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, thank you.
First of all, I genuinely agree. I think we should have caught a rock a long, long time ago. But I do want to pose an alternative. Are you against life or consciousness? Because you say that we can't do it between extinction or magic. So do you have a problem with consciousness or just life, or kind of both?
Well, the problem is that while life exists, you're in risk of suffering.
So would it be possible outside of magic with the technology and AI? So if someone was to come to you in like 15 years and says, hey, we can actually slide all animals, insects, human consciousness into these robots, avatar, whatever you want to call them, and they won't feel any kind of pain. Would that be acceptable, do you think? Or would it like get down to like even like grass and plants? Honest question.
Well, grass and plants should go extinct so that they don't evolve into sentient life. But in terms of like putting people into robots and stuff, it sounds quite unethical. Sounds like it's going to cause a lot of suffering in the meantime, right? We can already do extinction, whereas creating technology that prevents suffering is way less realistic, basically.
So how would you guys go about it? Like, have you read the book? I think it's called like End of Childhood. Essentially, aliens come and they fix us, make a great utopia, but then they essentially sterilize us all and say, "Hey, this is the last generation. We're gonna wipe you out." Is that kind of the way that you're looking at doing it? Because I don't know if eugenics is the way of doing it, because the children may not agree with your point of view.
Yeah, we support eugenics, and our movement is donating sperm to get more people like ourselves out there in the future. We
But do you
support.
think that's a safe bet, though? Like, do you think that's a safe bet because you're betting that the children are going to agree with what you agree with?
It's a good chance that they will.
But they would have to be, wouldn't they have to be sired and to like someone who also agrees?
No. So it's a genetic component. So you're saying, why would there be a chance, right? But there is actually a genetic component to being extinctionist.
What is it a specific? I'm honestly just really wondering. This is very interesting, so I'm really asking: is there like a specific gene, or how do you make that claim?
Yeah, so humans have evolved to be irrational and to make irrational, irresponsible decisions so that they'll have kids, right? And so that they'll survive in danger and have more kids. So it benefits evolution, reproduction, right? And so the more rational ones are genetic mutations in that system, anomalies, right? Rarities. It's about empathy, it's about logic, rationality. We're just better in every way, shape, and form, basically.
Interesting. Do you think anything matters?
Life, living beings.
The only reason why is I had a conversation with my mom about stuff, and her thing was like, well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And then if you follow that down to, a long enough timeline, nothing matters. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? And it's kind of like the same thing.
The thing is, you have people trying to find ways to see the world in a way which nothing matters, so that they don't have moral obligation. So most people are trying to escape moral obligation, downplay it, say, "Oh no, it's nothing to do with me. It's morality is subjective." It's all about trying to escape and maintain your free will and your freedom to just live your life selfishly. The opposite is, trying to do the opposite, trying to be better, trying to say, let's be more ethical. Let's find the more ethical way forward, right?
So you're saying these other folks have subjective reality and subjective morality? Is that kind of what you're saying when they say, "Oh, it doesn't matter"? Is that what you said? Subjective morality?
Yeah, loads of people come on the show saying, "Oh, morality is subjective. You know, why should I have to be a good person?" And it's like, well, that's it. You know, you're just saying it's subjective because you want to be a bad person.
So do you believe in subjective morality or objective morality then? Are you saying that you agree with them, but that you personally are right?
Morality is objective.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, I appreciate the conversation. You know, I'd seen a lot of people dog you and stuff, and I actually wanted to give you a shake, and I think you're a fair dealer, so I appreciate your time.
Thank you for coming on. Consider checking out our website. The link, the button to the website is on my TikTok profile. Read the manifesto, the FAQ. At the bottom of the page is the Discord and WhatsApp, which you can join. Okay, don't know where Steve is. We were meant to be doing a podcast, like, kind of now, actually, but he's not answered my messages, so we'll just keep streaming in the meantime. But yeah, he could come up at any time, so just bear that in mind, guys. Right, but yeah, let's keep going. Let's get someone else on. Who have we got? Who's going to be next? Who is the next victim? All right, working on it. We're working on it. There's loads of people in the queue now, so lots of options. Trying to bring them on. Accepting them up now. Come on. Okay, we got one. Hello.
Yo, you low-key, like, you should have been quicker, because now I'm taking a shit, and I only just got the...
Cool, got you. Okay, moving on again. James, you from the US or UK? United Kingdom. God save the king, don't you know? All right. Who else have we got? Let's bring on Will again. Hello.
Hey, James.
How's it going?
It's going good. Yeah, I heard somebody ask you a question before. I didn't quite understand your response. I kind of want to just push back a little bit, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So they were asking you about ethics and morals, and how that kind of factors into your movement, and how that's kind of like that's the motivation of your movement, right? It's the most ethically and morally sound thing to do to.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I hear you say also that you are you subscribe to objective morality. It is your belief that morals are objective. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then here's I guess where I'm not seeing those two things line up. So murder, the unaliving of someone against their will, is essentially what you would be advocating for in the instances of people who do not want to die. What I'm hearing, unless I'm misunderstanding, I'm hearing you say that the movement has landed upon what they believe is the most logical course of action for the world. And so here we go, we're going to do it. And but what I'm not hearing, I'm hearing some kind of things aren't wrapped up, like some pieces aren't wrapped up. And those pieces are, well, not everybody's going to want to go along with that. So then are you murdering, essentially, the people who don't go along with that? And if so, how does that line up with your objective morality, in which I would imagine you say a murder is immoral?
Yeah, but when you go to war, right, you still have to unalive. So yeah, in certain situations, things can be justified that normally wouldn't be.
Wouldn't that? But isn't that the definition of subjective morality?
What exactly?
Were you not just saying, like, well, in some instances, murder is okay, such as war? Isn't that kind of what you're saying?
Well, yeah, sometimes, you have to use force to defend victims.
So, okay. So, and so in your eyes, people who are living are victims, and force must be used to relieve them of suffering. Is that kind of the way you would frame it?
And they also generate new victims when they reproduce, so you have to stop that as well.
I'm still stuck on what about the people who don't want to die?
Well, the thing is that you have people that would be better off not existing that still want to exist because of their fear, their survival instinct, confusion, panic, right? So, that's why, vets don't say, well, I don't think he wants to go yet, so I'm just going to let him suffer, right? They take that decision away. They make the responsible decision for them.
That's surely some people. I would not agree that all people are in that camp. I think there's probably some people out there who do suffer, and they, live their life day to day. Just kind of, I have a friend. I have a friend who's very comfortable with the fact that life includes suffering. Like I'm quite.
Yeah, but that's
and
an irresponsible perspective, right? To themselves and for others. So we won't let people make irresponsible decisions. We'll have to do it for them because they can't.
what I'm saying is that it's irresponsible. What I was saying was I have a friend who, things happen and he says, well, that's that. There it is. That happened. He doesn't dwell on it. He doesn't create additional suffering for himself through, dwelling on things and thinking about things. What I'm
What's your
saying
point?
is that my point is that there are undoubtedly plenty of people on the planet who are either not suffering to the degree that it makes more sense to kill themselves, or they are experiencing pain as part of life and they've made peace with it and they still wouldn't be okay with dying.
Well,
So
okay,
I'm still not.
let's accept that some people are okay right now, okay? But them being okay doesn't mean that it's okay that everyone else is suffering. So we have an unfair system with sufferers and then the lucky ones, right? So the only way to protect the sufferers is with total extinction.
Okay, I would kind of twist that a little bit and say, well, it's not fair to kill the people who are doing fine because there are other people who are suffering.
So you think that some suffering is acceptable?
Acceptable?
Yeah. Justifiable, acceptable, permissible, ethical, even.
No, I'm not saying that.
That's what you just said.
I don't. I think that's a mismatch of.
No,
No,
you're saying that life should exist, even if some suffer terribly, right?
No, I'm saying that there are people who wouldn't want to die or be killed, and that it's not justifiable to murder them because there are other people who are suffering.
So, so how are you going to end all suffering?
I'm not trying to.
Okay, so then you think some suffering is acceptable, right?
No.
So what if you think no suffering is acceptable, then why aren't you an
I see what's
exception?
happening.
I'm asking you questions. That's what's happening.
You're mixing up. You're mixing it. So you're conflating two things. I'm not saying that suffering is acceptable. I'm saying that suffering happens.
That's the same thing.
No, they're different things because they're different words. They're different sentences.
Okay, if
I'm
someone
saying that
if I were to stab someone and the
Go ahead.
police said, "What the hell did you do that for?" I wouldn't just say, "Eh, it just happened," right? And they wouldn't go, "Yeah, true. All right, see you later," right? So they'd say, "No, that's unacceptable."
Well, that's because you're talking about a person, and I'm talking
Will,
about
you're
existence.
struggling
I'm talking
here.
about impersonal.
You're struggling too much, Will. You're meandering. You're struggling. Not going anywhere, mate. Do better. Okay, moving on. Alex, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good, thanks. How are you doing?
Good.
I just have a couple questions, then I'll pop out. So, you believe in objective morality, right?
Yeah.
Where do you think the source of that objective reality lies?
In reality itself.
So, just in nature, it's just like a ingrained set of morals that everything.
No, it's context dependent.
Can you give me an example?
Well, yeah, we live in a world where there's suffering, so that's the context, right? So in a universe with no life, right? You're not going to have much morality going on there. But where you do have life, suddenly you need to have, morality and ethics.
So the source of, you would say that the source of objective morality comes from the existence of sentient life, basically.
Yeah, I think that you could absolutely have one society and then it disappears, and then, another one comes back, a billion years later, and they could still find the same morality, yeah.
All right, that's fair. And I'll just to give an example of what I'm trying to say, I saw a video of a guy saying, if my son turned out to be a murderer or so I don't want to get the stream demonetized, so I have to pick my words, an abuser, he would end his son instantly.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that's taking justice out of the hands of the victim, the sufferer, so to speak. So I don't really, I kind of have a sort of, I kind of don't want to accept this movement because is by making all life extinct is sort of taking justice out of the hands of the sufferers. Do you see what I mean?
No, because justice doesn't help sufferers, right? So justice is actually helps the criminals more than it helps the victims. Because the current justice system does nothing to help a child that gets murdered, right? The child isn't going to care if the guy gets arrested afterwards. The child's already dead, right?
Yeah, but take for example a different crime like
Well, no, why
abuse.
why shouldn't we take that crime? You don't just skip it because it's hard for you to answer.
No, I'm not skipping. I just want to because suffering
Skip
comes
it.
in different forms,
You
right?
said let's just talk about something else.
No, I mean it's still because suffering comes in different forms, right? Not
So
just
look,
murder.
justice isn't going to help any animals. It's not going to help any kids that suffer, and it's too little, too late. So that's not a good enough system.
Sorry, can you repeat what you just said? My audio cut out.
Yeah, justice doesn't help anyone that's dead, and it doesn't help anyone that's trapped in a dungeon right now. It doesn't help animals in nature. Justice does nothing for anyone. Only extinction helps the sufferers.
All right, that's interesting point of view. I'll pop out then. I just wanted to get your point of view on that.
Okay, fair enough.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Alex. Okay, I don't know where Steve is, guys. He's gone AWOL, right? We were meant to be doing the podcast, pretty sure right now. If he's not here in 5 minutes, then he's gone. Okay, hello, how you doing?
Hi, James. I find your posts really interesting. I do agree that right now no one should be having children with the state of the world being how it is.
I disagree with that.
Sort of a hypothetical
I disagree with
future.
that.
Oh,
I
you
don't-
disagree?
Yeah.
You think people should be having children?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting. The main thing I wanted to ask was in a hypothetical future where we're able to create or build a better world where global joy outweighs global suffering, because I would say that global suffering outweighs global joy right now. I don't know, maybe that's a
You
generalization.
see, the mistake you're making is thinking that there's some sort of ratio where it can outweigh it, but actually, not even one victim is acceptable.
Okay. I mean, that's interesting. So, how would you go about this global extinction?
Euthanasia. So we would do
Okay.
animal extinction bit by bit while removing our dependence on them. And then we would research how to prevent life developing for Earth and as much of the universe if we can, and then forcefully make humanity go extinct. So we need humans to keep reproducing until after animal extinction. Because if we go extinct first, then animals will suffer for billions of years.
But doesn't that mean that we're just creating more sufferers for our end goal?
It's
Shouldn't
very
that be-
temporary. Compared to billions of years, 100 or 2 years is nothing.
Fair enough. I think, I think an argument could be made for the human race going extinct for sure, but I feel like
No.
if anything, that would
Well,
make
I can
it much
tell
better.
you that no, that there is no argument for that. And if you think there is one, let's hear it.
What do you mean? Isn't that your whole movement that the human race should be extinct?
Well, did you not hear what I said?
Well, yeah, after we, kill all the animals, obviously. But I feel like, if anything, once we're gone, the animals would have a much better world to thrive in.
No. Over 99% of animals in nature are completely unaffected by humans. Like they never see a human, they never interact with a human, they never suffer because of a human, and their suffering is way worse in nature, right? So 99% of them are eaten alive as children. We're not experiencing that. They are. They have worse conditions, no medicine. So yeah, animals suffer way worse than we do. You wouldn't want to be an animal, and they benefit from extinction.
Okay. I think that's all I wanted to ask, so thanks for your time.
No worries. Thank you for coming on. Yeah, as always, consider reading the website, read the manifesto, the FAQ. Question 33 on the full FAQ goes into loads of detail on wild animal suffering and why veganism causes more suffering and is bad. Okay, hello, how you doing?
Going well yourself?
Good, thank you.
Yeah, just hope you're doing well. Regardless, I had a look at your manifesto. I was in the WhatsApp group and the Discord. I'm pretty sure you saw my user pop up there at some point. So I had a more thorough investigation. So I'm gonna spit it out to you. You verify it. Then I'll ask my questions given my premise is correct. So first one is extinctionism aims to put humanity at the center, not just of the universe, but as a responsibility to eliminate all sentient suffering because of you could almost say, not necessarily Benatarian, but more sort of asymmetry between pleasure and pain. Therefore concluding that suffering is always disproportionate to the amount of pleasure or goodness, whatever you want to call it, being experienced. Am I correct in this part?
No. So, firstly, humanity is just the current vehicle for universal suffering prevention. We might be able to pass it on to AI. So at that point, if we can do that, we won't need humanity anymore. And it's not that suffering always outweighs pleasure, but that the risk of suffering always outweighs pleasure when you have unlimited danger and essentially a dangerous world where life is it's a meat grinder. So yeah, life should never exist in unsafe conditions where you have unlucky ones paying the expense so that the lucky ones can have fun and laugh at them. Yeah.
Okay. So basically it can be outsourced, is what you're saying, as long as the objective gets realized, so to say.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
I mean, look,
still works.
if some aliens show up tomorrow and say, "Don't worry, we got this," yeah, then we might say, "All right, bring it on." Okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So basically, as of now, right, we have to enact that, so to say, enact this, even if it's outsourced or whatever, because we have no evidence of the counter being true, someone else doing the work, so to say. Now we have to do it. Is this correct?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to go over the following premises. It is that I'm going to be a bit almost, I'm going to say, nitpicky about it, but I'm going to be more scientific about the situation. So the first thing is, which I've realized is proper in extinctionism, especially not really the antinatalism or the ethalism, they tend to be have different objectives, how they deal with the situation, so to say. But extinctionism makes itself unique by basically putting first causality as of now, as what we are seeing, humanity at the forefront to enact this, right? Even if we end up outsourcing, as long as we get the ball rolling, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just making sure we established everything before we move. Now, the first thing I realized, which I see a gap in the argument, so to say, is you did clarify last time in the part we had a discussion where when it comes to extinctionism, you shouldn't not have children as extinctionists because you're basically killing off the empathy genes, you're killing off the genes that side with the movement, so to say.
Yeah.
Right? The only problem with this is just a slight one, which is a pattern you can see working outwise, so to say. There are religious nuance, so to say, Christian, parents have Christian children, so on and so forth. It tends to off and up and down happen to a certain extent. But what also happens, right, on a good amount of the cases, right, is the opposite happening. Is that the children or the relatives, so say the offspring or the community around it, deviates from the movement.
Yeah,
So
but
how
the
would
thing
you
is,
account for almost the genetic like variation? That's the right word.
yeah, the thing is, if you're donating sperm and you have like thousands of children, yeah, they're more likely to be extinctionist. But yeah, look, if you're donating sperm and having thousands of kids, then there's a good chance that some of them will be extinctionist, and yeah, those kids will be more likely than if you didn't donate the sperm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so on this, aren't you playing a probabilistic game then? A gamble, so to say. Given that 20 of your kids, okay.
No, because there's no gambling there, right? There's no risk.
There's been no risk. So if 20 of those kids, which does have because regression towards the mean, which if you want, I can elaborate as much as you want on those mechanism. But the conclusion I'm ending up here with the current reasoning I have is even with, let's say we have 3 extinctionists, right? But out of a batch of 20, is that a game worth playing?
Yeah.
Also,
because more extinctionist is the most important thing for the world right now. So it has a lot of moral value, and yeah, it's morally urgent.
Morally urgent, right? So the moral. So then, as I read up on the website, so say the morality in a sense is laying upon the foundation of anti-suffering. You mentioned this a lot, even in your videos.
Yeah, but we wouldn't be so anti-suffering that we, wouldn't step out of the house in case we stood on an insect, and therefore just allowed suffering, right? It's like saying to a police officer, "You're against violence, so why are you using violence on that criminal?" So, well, otherwise he'll use violence on some innocents.
Okay, so let's take that. I'm not going to throw it out of the window. I'm actually going to play with it, right? The only just slight thing, I'm not really pointing to the fact that you enact violence to keep the peace, quote unquote, like weirdly saying, basically to eliminate suffering. I'm not saying you have to like use no suffering to get this. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there is a limit to it. Let's use your law enforcement example, right? If my kid gets clapped by someone, right, I would not hook his, what do you call it, fucking testicles to a jumper cable and tell him that, yeah, this is your punishment. So what I mean by the ratio thing is, prior words, with 20 kids, 3 extinctionists, right, is even if the 3 extinctionists do exist because of the 20 ratio, right, you're still going to end up with how many of them like having to experience with the risk of suffering, quite in the situation, can experience extreme
but
pain.
you see, donating sperm doesn't increase the number of children coming into the world. It just changes the genetics of the ones that were going to come into the world anyway.
Not necessarily, given on who you didn't
yes, necessarily.
Also,
that's how donating sperm works.
Not really. Genetics work in a very different way, and I'm saying this from a
No.
biological
So
standpoint.
if someone's going to have a kid, and they can choose between a narcissist sperm or an extinctionist sperm disguised as a narcissist sperm, then yeah, there's no extra harm there, right? You're actually just improving conditions.
Mm-hmm. So if the narcissist comes in and wants extinctionist sperm, you want to play the gamble game of if extinction is going to come out or not?
But look, we're already dealing with the worst case scenario, so you can't do extra harm when you're only improving conditions.
Not necessarily.
Yes, necessarily. Yes, necessarily. Because you're not making sense.
Do you know? Have you read one book on genetics?
Yes.
Just one. Okay. Explain to me the foundations of regression towards the mean.
You're not making any sense. Look, I
am making sense. It is a general phenomenon that genes are various.
Sorry, JM, you're making gibberish sense, right? No sense, right? So, look, if 2 evil people are going to have a kid, they're going to have a kid that's probably going to be evil, right? But if we can give them a chance of being a good person, how is that worse, right? Where's the extra harm coming out here? Right, if you've got an evil kid and you give them a chance of being good, like what the heck are you talking about, son? Gibberish, pure gibberish. Okay, so should we keep going? I don't know. Steve said he's kind of ready for the podcast now, so I mean, you guys can all join for the live stream of the podcast if you want, right? You know, that's going to be on YouTube. If you want to join for that, yeah, absolutely. Search on YouTube Pro Extinction or Pro Extinction Podcast. That's actually Steve's YouTube channel. It's actually Pro_Extinction or Pro Extinction, all one word. That's his channel on YouTube. That's where we do the live streaming. We do the podcast. So we've got 25 episodes out on that podcast now. And this will be episode 26. And it's going to be about animal euthanasia. And go deep dive on it, about how it's better than sterilization, about how we're going to do it, you know, the best ways to do animal euthanasia. And we might be talking about how we're going to replace our dependence on animals as well, working towards a plant-based world, or heck, even if there's no plants, we might be able to generate food and oxygen, whatnot, without plants, animals, anything. So that is what we're working towards 100%. Steve, where are you, my buddy? He said he was ready for the podcast, so I don't know. Do we keep debating, or do we wait for Steve? I guess we can keep going. Let's see. Let's try and get someone else up then. James, why do you get mad and kick everyone as soon as they corner you? Look, they're not cornering me, okay? And if you think you're so smart, then join the queue and put your money where your mouth is, right? I kick people out when they've started to embarrass themselves, okay? So that's the reason I kick people, is to protect them, right? Because they're embarrassing themselves so badly, saying stuff like child abuse is a good thing. So it's for their benefit. Hello, how you doing?
I think you. All right, man. You kick people when you get flustered.
I don't. I don't get flustered. I just kick people when they're embarrassing themselves. Or if they're wasting time and just heard
a couple dudes
talking
make
about
good
philosophy.
points.
Okay, do you have a point, or are you just trolling?
Wasn't this? If I was listening to you.
Right, so this is the caliber of person that's trolling in the chat saying, host L, host got cooked, right? You bring them on and say, all right, what are you talking about? Go for it. And they're like, you got cooked? Get out of here, okay? All right, let's see who we got next. Whale Rider. Let's bring you up. Hello, how are you doing?
Hello?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good. Do you have any questions for us?
A ton, really, but I think that stuff is not. I have one question, I guess. And it's regarding, I guess, urgency. I've heard you mention a couple of times things about we have millions of years to do this. And I guess, that's true, but are we not in a window right now? Are you guys, I'm going to be doing more research into this live. Like I just said, I'm going to be in depth, scanning the website and, what do you guys, I don't know. I'm excited to learn more.
So we have to grow the movement until we have enough people to change the world, make it against suffering, and start carrying out animal extinction. There's no other way their suffering is ever going to end. So we have to do it for them. And then prevention of life developing for Earth and as much of the universe as possible, and then make humanity go extinct by force as well.
I mean, I get it, and I look very deep into things. Like I mentioned earlier, microbial extinction, total extinction is going to be one hell of a job. And what I'm seeing is this movement has no choice but to grow.
You can't, change the world with, one person, can you?
No, and it's just I appreciate the, having a plan and an end goal, something to aim for. And when you're just like reaching for, heaven, engineering heaven, like
No, that's not a plan. That's like I'm saying, if that ever happens, then maybe life can continue. But we're not going after that. We're going after extinction.
I understand that. I've always wanted to engineer heaven, but how do you even go about doing that? But extinction gives you a goal, right? Clearly. But I guess the main question was, what is your sense of urgency? Because obviously, we're alive. We have technology. We're in a window to where total
Well, the
extinction
sense of
could be
urgency
possible.
is that life is suffering terribly and needs help, right? It doesn't get more urgent than that.
That's that's a good answer. Not gonna lie.
That's not a joke answer. It's the answer. Yeah,
I'm
life
lagging a
needs
little bit.
help,
I
right?
probably should stop pacing, but
Yeah,
pretty
most
much answered
people
my
most people
question.
live in this bubble where they think that you've got zero moral obligation, you have free will, just live your life. But that means like you're fine with any amount of suffering and cruelty. You're just always going to ignore it.
No, I mean I feel for that. I've suffered, and I'm very empathetic. I guess I had this imagination type thing, or imagine like where you're just gonna like roll out the tanks. Like, is there some secret plan to enact anything? I don't think there is.
Well,
I don't
look,
know.
we're too early in the movement to do that, right? Look, if we had 1 million people around the world, then maybe we'd start making those plans. But it would just be silly to start doing that now with so few people.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's it. You answered my question. But yeah, I'm gonna look at the website.
Yeah, and like I said earlier in the stream today, when I joined the movement for the first 2 or 3 months, right? So when I joined, I was like, I'm in. I'm 100% in, and I was in straight away. Okay, and I was doing activism like immediately, every day. But even for the first 2 months after I joined, I still didn't understand all of the finer points, right? I still didn't understand everything about why veganism was bad, about why antinatalism was bad. There is a lot to it, right? It's not just the simplest thing. So yeah, there's stuff to learn about it and to improve your understanding on. And that's obvious, right? I mean, vegans only care about farmed animals, so they're not looking at the bigger picture. We are looking at the bigger picture, and that means, yeah, you do need to learn about what's actually going on, and we can teach you. But yes, again, when I joined the movement for the first couple of months, I was very confused about certain topics. Now, I got most of it. I was pretty good at it, but I was nowhere near as good as I am now. And nobody is born as an extinctionist. So yeah, if you've got questions, absolutely ask them. It's the only way you're going to learn. And if you feel embarrassed to ask those questions, then you're not going to learn. So yeah, you have to be willing to embarrass yourself, to say, look, I know this sounds stupid, but I have this question. You're not going to learn otherwise. Right, so this podcast with Steve is meant to be happening soon. Looks like it may be happening within the next 5 minutes, maybe? I mean, he's very late at this point. So Steve is the person that made the movement. And yeah, we've been doing podcasts pretty much since the start of me joining the movement, actually. Yeah, the first activism I did really was doing this podcast with Steve. So we started with like an 1.5 hour episode on YouTube, and yeah, we've got 25 of them now. So you can see the videos on YouTube, and then the podcast is also on all major platforms, so you can listen to it on Spotify, Apple, everywhere. So there's loads of information if you want to learn more about the movement. Steve is a scientist as well, and yeah, we do lots of scientific podcasts about extinction and all of the topics relating to extinction, including universe-wide extinction, animal extinction, human extinction, the ethics. 25 episodes so far. We've gone into loads of stuff. But where is he? He's meant to be in this YouTube stream. and he's still not shown up, right? I don't know if he's trolling me at this point. He's like half an hour late now and says he's still coming. So do I keep streaming on TikTok? I guess so. All right, so I'm going to take on another guest under the caveat that, I may have to go and start this podcast on YouTube. So let's bring someone on. Hello, how you doing?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Well, I have two subtopics. First, wanna ask you about what is the movement's plan? I mean, do you wanna spread this idea first in Europe or in other continents? Because
globally, everywhere.
Listen, Asia is the most densely populated continent, so why not spread this in Asia, right?
It is. It started in Asia.
Okay. So, do you think that spreading this in Europe first is a good or bad idea? I mean, spreading this in Europe in general is a good idea.
We're not doing it like that. Look, everyone is just spreading it everywhere, right? And we're on the internet, so it's global.
So there's, for example, like people spreading it in India.
India is actually where most of our activists are from. Well, actually, no, it's not that most of our activists, over 50%, but it's where a lot of activists come from. It's where the leader of the movement is from, India, and so we have lots of Indians in the movement. Loads and loads of Indians. But yeah, we've got Europeans, we have Americans, we have Asians, we have people everywhere.
All right. So that was one topic. So another topic was regarding the philosophy, the ideology, and stuff like that of the extinction and suffering. So
yeah, unfortunately, that caveat is now kicking in because Steve has appeared on the YouTube stream. So if you want to keep watching me and also the leader of the movement, Steve, then join us on YouTube right now. We're going live immediately. Search on YouTube, Pro Extinction Podcast. It's episode 26. It's going live. You should be able to join it live now. So join us there if you like. Come and meet me and Steve and learn more about extinction.